Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. American Comics. The Strongest GU Master Sign-In System. Chapter 81. Golden Toad GU. Level. 4 turns. Ability. After activation, it can force hatred to enemies within 300 meters around, and it can take effect on level Godfather at most, causing the opponent's attack target to turn to Golden Toad GU, and Golden Toad GU has extremely high defense. If you inject true energy, the highest can withstand top god level combat power attacks. Advanced rank 5 GU worm requirements. Solid gold grass X100, glazed stone X100, 100-year poisonous bug X1. Feeding requirements. Congealing golden grass juice X5 daily. Life and death GU. Level. 4 turns. Ability. After activation, it can mark targets below level Godfather within 5,000 meters of itself. If it is injured, it will automatically transfer to the marked target. When the marked target dies, the life and death GU will also die. Advanced rank 5 GU insect requirements. Yin-Yang flower X100, Liangyi jade X100, century-old poisonous insect X1. Feeding requirements. You need to eat Jiang flower or Jiang grass X5 every day. There are 2 kinds of GU worms that have been signed in this time. Although it is not an attacking type of GU worm. However, it is a life-saving ability first-class powerful GU worm. Among them, if the Golden Toad GU is used well, it can have a miraculous effect even in the future when facing a strong level Godfather. Just imagine, if he and the level Godfather powerhouse fell into the final stage of fighting for big moves. Both sides are only short of the last level, and they can take the other side away directly. As a result, the Golden Toad GU suddenly played a role at this time, forcing the opponent's attack to deflect. So, doesn't this mean that the opponent's attack will directly fail? And his attack can easily penetrate the opponent's defense and take the opponent away in a wave. This is simply miraculous. As for the life and death GU, it is even more against the sky. Although it can only take effect on the existence under the level Godfather. However, all the attacks he suffered will be transferred to the marked target. This is equivalent to directly gaining an extra life. In fact, long before, Chen Qing had thought of refining some life and death GU to save his life. But it is a pity that the materials needed for life and death GU are too harsh. He still hasn't found the material to refine life and death GU. This time is really a big harvest. However, since the plot of Thor 1 has begun, the plot of the Green Titan is almost the same. Chen Qing rubbed his chin and murmured. The plots of Green Titan 1 and Thor 1 happened in the same year. Now that Thor's side has started to sign in, maybe it won't be long before the Green Titan's side will also start to sign in. I don't know what Titan will give him to sign in. Chen Qing has already begun to look forward to it. However, no matter what, the Taoist deeds that are signed in are all good things, which can improve his own self-improvement. As long as he can break through to rank 5 GU Master Realm, he should be able to possess top god level strength. At this level, even if you look at the entire universe, you can't be regarded as a weak person. At least, on Odin's side, he can be considered a top combat power. Even Thanos is only at this level. At best, Thanos is half a step stronger than ordinary top gods. Has half a foot into the ranks of the level Godfather. Worried about attracting Odin's attention, Chen Qing didn't stay here any longer. Thor is not something he can plan, and behind the opponent is a top-level Godfather who can even compete with some level single-universe existences. If Odin is really pissed off, not even the Ancient One magician can keep him. However, Green Titan can make a plan. After completing the plot and letting him complete the sign-in, he also happened to sharpen Titan's temperament. The future of the province loses his temper at every turn and wreaks havoc in the base. In addition, Dr. Banner, who has 8 doctorates, is also a good talent. Might be considered as a backup to Annie Zola. Speaking of which, it seems that he hasn't released Annie Zola yet, and he doesn't know if the other party knows what's wrong. Thinking about this question, Chen Qing directly opened the portal and returned to the Scarlet Great Wall headquarters located in the deep mountains of Dragon Kingdom. At this moment, after more than half a year of development here, it has become completely different from before. The base was originally exposed outside the mountain. At this moment, a movable mountain bunker was erected directly above. Even if you use a satellite map to view it from a high altitude, you can only see a dense forest. It is impossible to tell that there is a huge amounts of military base hidden below. In addition, the base also extends to a depth of about 800 meters underground. The functions in it are very complete, including almost all functions such as storing materials, building weapons, and repairing platforms. The Scarlet Great Wall at this moment is no longer a newly built organization. The current Scarlet Great Wall has a total of 4 troops. Among them, the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Force has the largest number, which is composed of 3,500 soldiers provided by the Dragon Kingdom. After the man was equipped with a Rank 2 Brute Force Beetle GU and a Rank 2 Qingfeng GU, and used a Rank 3 Fitness GU. The strength of these 3,500 soldiers has all entered Chen Qing's judgment on level universe. Although it is barely stepping into this level. But the strength of an ordinary battalion is not even comparable to that of any one of these Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Forces. In addition, the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Force has a blaster made with Tesseract. That's right, it is the energy weapon created by Hydra in Captain America, which can turn people into ashes with one shot. One shot is more powerful than ordinary shells. As for Tesseract, it was naturally recovered by Chen Qing himself. That was the container containing the space gem. How could he let Tesseract in the snake shield? Definitely, for the development of the follow-up plot, there is also a piece of Tesseract that he and Ancient One magician jointly imitated in the Snake Shield Bureau. Definitely, this piece of cosmic magic, except that there is no space gem inside. Whether it is energy fluctuation or appearance, it is basically the same as Tesseract. The only difference may be that the energy in it is limited, you can't use it a few times, and there is no space gem in it. If you crush it, you will only get a bunch of pieces. Originally, Chen Qing also wanted to equip the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Force with vibranium equipment. However, since vibranium has not flown out much, this plan can only be put aside temporarily. Although he knows that there is a large amount of vibranium in Wakanda. However, considering that even Thanos' fleet failed to break through Wakanda's energy shield, Chen Qing decided to wait until he possessed top god level strength. Before going to Wakanda, take all the vibranium mines in one step. As for whether the other party will cooperate with this question, then it will definitely not cooperate, and the two sides will inevitably conflict. Those BL*CKMN are not only very selfish, but also have honey self-confidence, thinking that they are very awesome. Obviously technology is far ahead of the Earth, but during the Earth crisis of the Avengers Alliance 1 and Avengers Alliance 2, they did not appear on the battlefield at all. Just guarding 1/3 of an acre of land, living an advanced and primitive life. Anyway, Chen Qing, the vibranium vein in Wakanda, is going to be settled. Since Wakanda is not willing to contribute to the Earth, then donate vibranium and let him use these vibranium to congratulate the Earth. As for if the other party doesn't listen, then kill them all. The Earth does not have an advantage in the face of all races in the universe originally, so how can there be so much thought to slowly educate them? He doesn't need this kind of self-confident boy. Even if it weren't for the Avengers Alliance 3, Thanos snapped his fingers and wiped out half of Wakanda's population. Chen Qing even doubted whether the group of black ghosts from Wakanda would appear on the battlefield. As for a mere Black Panther, a piece of garbage that doesn't even reach the god level, how useful will it be to join the battlefield? The only thing he relied on, the battle suit made of vibranium, also did not dare to take even a blow from Thanos. In addition to the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Force, the remaining 3 troops are the 2,200-member Magician Special Operations Force, the 1,500-member Starship Force, and the final 300-member Heavy Firepower Strategic Force. The Magician Special Forces are all composed of magicians whose strength has reached level universe. With the help of the portal, Magician Special Forces can appear in any place, and then quickly carry out operations. In the shortest time, hit the enemy by surprise. In times of war, this is a combat force that executes special operations plans. And in the period when there is no war, the Magician Special Forces are in charge of dealing with the incidents of superpowers on the Earth. The 1,500-member Starship Troop is preparing for the future Starfleet. Although Starfleet still has many technical difficulties that have not been broken through. But the driver must be well trained in advance. Otherwise, it would be too late to train the pilots after the star warships are built. The final 300-strong heavy firepower strategic unit was built by Tony himself. In principle, these heavy armors look similar to anti-Hulk armor in appearance. It is even a full circle larger than the anti-Hulk armor. That huge body is more than 5 meters high when standing, and its body is extremely thick. And, unlike anti-Hulk armor, it's built for suppression. These heavy armors are purely for war. Not only are 2 blaster cannons using Tesseract energy installed on the shoulders, but it can also carry up to 16 medium-range missiles and more than 30 tons of ammunition. And, even with a full load, this big guy can also fly. And has a moving speed of over 80 kilometers per hour. This is a killing machine specially prepared by Chen Qing for the future frontal war. Now these 300 are just insufficient resources, and only 300 have been produced for use as training machines for the time being. Chen Qing's future plan is to directly form a heavy armor with more than 5,000 people as a solid line of defense for the future Earth. You must know that the army of the Chitauri civilization is actually not weak in combat effectiveness. Just thinking about relying on the army on the Earth to deal with it will inevitably suffer a big loss. Even the F-22 or M1A1 main battle tanks of the Eagle Sauce country will also appear vulnerable when facing the army of the Chitauri civilization. Once the two sides really fight, the battle loss ratio will be extremely terrifying. However, these heavily armored mechas with good maneuverability and excellent firepower are different. In the future, Tony is developing the means of energy shielding. Hey, just turn into a rogue warrior and shoot wildly across the battlefield. In addition, in Chen Qing's plan, in fact, in the future, he also plans to build a Green Titan army, a Spider-Man army, and other super ability army. However, now the Green Giant. Neither man nor Spider-Man has yet been born. Chen Qing could only quietly wait for the time to come. Back in his own office, Chen Qing took out the scarlet chain of Celatok that sealed Annie Zola from the safe. He had also sealed Annie Zola for about 7 months. I believe that the other party has tasted enough of being sealed. Chen Qing thought about unlocking the seal of Annie Zola. Suddenly, the soul of Annie Zola appeared in the office. However, it seems that it has been sealed for too long. Annie Zola didn't even react for a while, her face still maintained a dull expression, and she seemed to be stupid. Generally, obviously, this time the seal hit Annie Zola very hard. Even his whole body seemed a little numb. However, Chen Qing didn't care too much. The soul is not comparable to the body. Just wait for Annie Zola to reboot himself. The recovery ability of the soul is much stronger than the physical body. Sure enough, Chen Qing didn't wait too long, and Annie Zola's eyes slowly recovered. However, as soon as he woke up, he forced himself into the previous numb state, hiding all the look in his eyes. It seems to be looking for some opportunity. However, he didn't know that the fluctuation of his soul had already attracted Chen Qing's attention the moment he woke up. Okay, Dr. Annie Zola, stop pretending, I know far more than you do on a soul level. Chen Qing put down the documents in his hands, and calmly cast his eyes on Annie Zola and said. Annie Zola spat secretly in her heart, and then stopped pretending. What the hell are you trying to do? He is a smart man, and he knows very well that Chen Qing is definitely not cheating on him. At the same time, he is also very clear that if he continues to pretend, he will only provoke more serious revenge. Now even his own soul is in the hands of the other party. Who knows if the other party will come up with some perverted moves to mess with him. Play for me, Annie Zola, join the Scarlet Great Wall and become the strongest line of defense on Earth. Chen Qing stretched out his palm to Annie Zola, and said sincerely. Was it because he valued his ability in scientific research? Then he has confidence in his heart. Annie Zola suddenly sneered, and said disdainfully, Young man, do you want to recruit me? You don't even know if your age is worthy, I can even be your grandpa. Chen Qing was not angry at Annie Zola's words. Instead, he shook his head and sighed. Sure enough, mouth escape is not suitable for me. Since you don't want to join me, then I can only escape you. After all, Chen Qing launched Bossat's thunder directly. Suddenly, a mass of red thunder jumped in his palm. To deal with this kind of soul, Bossat's thunder is perfect. This red thunder not only possesses extremely strong physical killing ability, but also has a killing effect on souls. Like the soul of an ordinary person, it can be split into pieces directly. And Annie Zola trembled like chaff after the red thunder appeared. The instinct of the soul told him that this thing has the ability to kill him fatally. Annie Zola suddenly panicked. Nemes, he is just up for sale, to fight for more status for himself. Why are you asking again? You are asking once and I am pulling, and then you ask again, I will reluctantly agree. Doesn't the Dragon Kingdom have a tradition of visiting thatched cottages 3 times? But how come to Chen Qing's place? You are going to kill him directly. I promise you, I am willing to join the Scarlet Great Wall. Annie Zola immediately screamed. After he saw that souls and magic really existed in this world, he didn't want to die anymore. He wants to know what the principle of this magic is. What exactly is the essence of the soul? Annie Zola obviously calmed down after being taught a lesson. However, it is impossible for Chen Qing not to be wary of the other party. I will help you find a body later, and you can help me research the super soldier serum in the base later. This should be your plan. Chen Qing said to Annie Zola. Consider Annie Zola's powerful research ability. The body that Chen Qing prepared for Annie Zola will inevitably arrange countless backhands. The most important thing is to firmly bind the soul of Annie Zola in this body, so as to save the other party from really developing something at that time, and run into the network like Ultron. Arguably, if it wasn't for Ultron's desire to build himself a powerful body. As far as the opponent's characteristics are concerned, it is impossible for someone to deal with it. Even Tony Stark is also helpless in the face of this kind of thing. Unless the network of the whole Earth is wiped out and never touched, it is also possible to seal Ultron in the network. And if Annie Zola put his soul into the network, then the situation is different. Annie Zola doesn't have much desire for a physical body. Not showing obvious weaknesses like Thanos did. This is what it should be. I will help you develop the super soldier serum. Annie Zola smiled flatteringly. He had already done this in order to restrain Captain America during World War II. Now it's just going back to the old business. If you can complete this task, I believe that your status here will be improved a lot. After all, that is a monster with 5 times the physique of ordinary people. Okay, Chen Qing responded casually, then picked up the phone on the table, and said, let the laboratory send over the prepared body. The other end immediately responded respectfully, yes, my lord. After a while, a body frozen in a freezer was escorted over by several 9-tailed fox special operations troops wearing black combat uniforms. Several soldiers put down the freezer, saluted, then turned and left without any curiosity about the use of this body. This is the military quality of the current Scarlet Great Wall combat troops. Originally these people are extremely good soldiers. However, after more than half a year of training, they have become more elite. Although the strength is still only at the level of level universe. But if the 10 teams cooperate with each other, even some weaker level universe experts can subdue them. If they can be equipped with vibranium equipment in the future, their combat effectiveness will be even more terrifying. And Annie Zola also asked curiously, these soldiers seem to have something wrong. Are they reformed people? The weight of the freezer in front of me is definitely not light, and the nutrient solution in it is at least about 1 ton. But Annie Zola looked at these soldiers clearly, and lifted the freezer with ease, as if what he was dragging was not a 1-ton freezer, but just a cardboard box. Well, under normal circumstances, they have about 20 times the physique of ordinary people, which can be regarded as good combat power. Chen Qing nodded, and said without the slightest ostentatious tone. 20 times the physique of ordinary people. Annie Zola exclaimed directly. The Captain America cultivated by the Eagle Sauce country only has 5 times the physique of ordinary people. However, these soldiers who seem to be just ordinary soldiers actually have 20 times the physique of ordinary people. Isn't this a bit too exaggerated? However, Annie Zola doesn't think Chen Qing is lying. Because Chen Qing didn't need to lie to him at all. If it was just a lie, he would definitely find out later. Wouldn't Chen Qing be embarrassed at that time? But if this is the case, then he seems to have to develop a super soldier serum with a physique 20 times that of ordinary people. No, according to Chen Qing's words, these soldiers also have a supernormal fighting mode. In that state, the opponent's physique will definitely be improved. Oh my god, has this world developed to such a terrifying extent without his knowing it? Well, but you only need to develop the super soldier serum. This shouldn't be a problem for you, right? Chen Qing turned his gaze to Annie Zola and asked. In fact, the effects of super soldier serum and fitness needs will not conflict. Under the superposition of the two phases, although there will be no multiple improvement. However, if you just want to do additive superposition, there is no problem. And in this case, the effect of the second-rank brute strength beetle GU can be amplified to the maximum. The normal state is comparable to 30 times the physique of ordinary people, and it will definitely not suffer even in the face of Captain America. And once the brute force beetle GU is activated, it can directly have a physique 100 times that of a normal person, even comparable to Spider-Man. Once at this point, add the vibranium gear that will be assembled in the future. I'm afraid it won't be a problem for a single soldier to suppress the existence of those top-level universes. Definitely, this all assumes that Annie Zola is able to develop a super soldier serum. As for Chen Qing's words, Annie Zola suddenly looked a little annoyed. How much do you look down on me? It's just a super soldier serum, it's just something I can do at my fingertips, okay. Chen Qing raised his eyebrows and said noncommittally, I hope so. Then, he walked to the freezer, entered a string of passwords and verified his fingerprints, and unlocked the safety of the freezer. The body here is not simple. If you don't have enough ability, I will consider taking it back. Chen Qing looked at the body in the freezer with admiration, and said. Annie Zola leaned over, and the body in front of him had the appearance of a dragon countryman, with black hair, black pupils, and a well-proportioned figure. Except for the somewhat ordinary appearance, Annie Zola is very satisfied in every aspect. Compared with his previous 5 short figure, this body is simply not perfect. Is there anything special about this body? Annie Zola asked curiously. The hardness of the bone is almost comparable to that of steel, and the strength of the physical body is almost 10 times that of ordinary people. Definitely the most important thing is that the blood contains a huge recovery factor. Some skin trauma can be completely healed in only 5 seconds. Chen Qing pulled off the tubes connected to the body with a few strokes. Then, he hooked Annie Zola. Come here, let me take a picture for you. Oh. Annie Zola was very moved. He didn't expect Chen Qing to be so kind to him. That is 10 times the physique of ordinary people. His powerful body was unimaginable in his previous life. Even stronger than those super fighters. Coupled with that bone that is as hard as steel, and that powerful recovery ability. Even if he has no combat ability, he can easily survive surrounded by a company of soldiers. Definitely, Annie Zola didn't know that his body was completely made of GU insects. The bones are made of bone erosion GU, that's why they are so hard. Flesh and flesh are composed of a kind of GU worm called rotten muscle GU, which is why it has such a powerful physical ability. In addition, what makes up the blood is a GU worm called blood poison GU, which is why it brings a powerful recovery ability. It can be said that once entering this body, Annie Zola's life and death will be completely in his hands. Even Chen Qing could easily make Annie Zola unable to survive or die. Definitely, if Annie Zola hadn't done anything to betray Chen Qing wouldn't have targeted him. After Annie Zola's matter was resolved, Chen Qing picked up the phone again, and said to the other end, send out 3 nine-tailed fox special response teams and a magician special forces to closely monitor Bruce Banner actions, while ensuring that the other party can act according to his previously predetermined plan. Yes, my lord, the other end of the phone answered immediately. Chen Qing, who hung up the phone, had a deep look in his eyes. Because of Odin behind Thor, he couldn't intervene in this matter. Therefore, he has no way of guaranteeing that the plot will develop according to the original plot, allowing him to have those special opportunities to sign in. However, on Bruce Banner's side, he absolutely does not allow any accidents. What happened to Tony last time reminded him, CBAJ. After all, this is a real world, and after the appearance of him as a time traveler, everything seems to have changed. Even Annie Zola came out early, leading to the upgrade of Iron King. He even pressed Tony to beat him at one point, putting Tony in a life and death crisis. Then, even if there is any accident in the following things, Chen Qing feels that it is not an exaggeration. After all, his appearance has already changed many plots. It can even be said that the Scarlet Great Wall he built has changed the world. And soon, 3 Hydra Special Response Teams, and a Magician Special Combat Team set off from the base. There is such a set of configurations at Bruce Banner's side. As long as the enemy is not a god-level existence, it is enough to guarantee the safety of Bruce Banner. Moreover, even if it is a god-level existence, these 4 teams are enough to support for a period of time, creating opportunities for him, an Ancient One magician, to support. The next step is to wait for the development of the situation. Chen Qing leaned on the large sofa and let out a long sigh of relief. He has already done what he should do, and the rest is not something he should worry about. In the laboratory of Carroll University, Bruce Banner is conducting an experiment with his girlfriend Betty Ross. At the moment, Bruce Banner is lying on a chair similar to a space capsule. A green laser was scanning his head. Suddenly, under the irradiation of gamma rays, Bruce Banner's cells underwent drastic mutations. Bruce Banner's body began to swell rapidly, and huge amounts of muscles also began to bulge. But for a moment, Bruce Banner turned into a huge green monster. And, because of being stimulated, Bruce Banner at this moment is extremely irritable, crazily destroying everything around him. Under that huge amounts of power, everything around is as fragile as paper. Even the walls made of reinforced concrete were easily hammered into large holes. However, in reality, there are no underpants with such exaggerated elasticity. So, a green dragon is swinging wildly with Hulk's movements. But at this moment, the 3 Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Team and the Magician Special Warfare Team who were watching the scene nearby immediately clicked their tongues. Awesome, this belly will bulge. Get up. Something is wrong with you. Okay, stop making trouble. This big guy over 3 meters doesn't seem to be very easy to deal with. I feel like this strength is at least 100 tons. Yeah, I feel like I can be beaten into a pulp with one punch. This strength is too terrifying, but fortunately, he seems to have lost his mind and has no skills at all. Such a lot of strength still requires skill. Just break through all magic with one force. I'm afraid only those brothers in the Magician Army can deal with him. The Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Team and the Magician Special Warfare Team had no intention of making a move. Their task is not to protect the civilians of these Eagle Sauce countries. It was to protect the safety of the green guy in front of him. Although I can't bear the tragic death of these people at the hands of this green guy. However, no one will show their unnecessary kindness when performing tasks. Otherwise, sooner or later, he and his comrades will be killed. Moreover, since joining the Scarlet Great Wall, they are very clear about what their mission means. But at this moment, there is another figure standing in the mirror space watching the battle. Sure enough, Hulk is the strongest at this stage. In the mirror space, Chen Qing sighed. Although the current Hulk has lost his mind, he only wants to destroy everything around him crazily. However, it is undeniable that only Hulk at this stage can display his full strength. After all, the angrier Hulk gets, the more terrifying his strength becomes. And Dr. Hulk, who can control his mind, can actually only display less than half of Hulk's strength. So, essentially this is a weakening of the Hulk. Definitely, a Hulk without sanity is uncontrollable. If it is used as a strategic weapon and thrown directly into the enemy's camp, that's okay, then Hulk will be a sub-god level existence. Enough to sweep away all existences below the god level. Even some weaker gods will be hammered to the ground by Hulk. But if the two armies are facing each other, Hulk will be a burden. Hulk, who is indistinguishable from friend and foe, is really good at bashing allies. However, these are not problems. Thanos can hammer the Hulk into submission. Even beat Hulk so hard to come out, there's no reason he couldn't do it. At worst, he will fight every day, and sooner or later he will be able to beat Hulk honestly. System, let's sign in. Chen Qing said to the system in his mind. The scene where Bruce Banner transforms into a Green Titan also triggers a special check-in. It is precisely for this reason that Chen Qing will appear here. Ding, you have completed the sign-in and received rewards for 120 years of Taoism, which is the transformation area, 4th turn, X1, Taisheng Wangqing, internal turn GU treasure, X1. This time, you actually signed in and produced a GU treasure. Chen Qing was a little surprised. You know, the previous immortal King Ji Ding gave him a big surprise. The kind of GU treasure that can improve the level of refining GU worms can allow him to produce a lot of high-quality GU worms. If it wasn't for the immortal King Ji Ding, where did he get so many Earth transformations, the main transformation GU worms? But now, this GU treasure named Taisheng Wangqing can feel different just by hearing the name. Chen Qing couldn't wait to click on the information interface of Taisheng Wangqing. Too much forgetfulness. Level. Rank 4 GU treasure, upgrade progress 0.10,000. Ability. After assembling the GU treasure, it can currently increase the total amount of Qi of its own by 3 times, increase the recovery speed of Qi by 5 times, and also increase the power of GU worms below rank 5 by 300%. When casting the GU worm array, the power will be increased by 150%, the consumption will be reduced by 30%, and the consumption will also be reduced by 50% when driving the GU worm. Upgrade 5th Order GU Treasure Requirements. Taihao Stone X 450, Qiang Crystal X 450, Taiwu Xuanjing, 100 Years Poisonous Insect Essence Blood X 50. Upgrade can only be upgraded after the upgrade progress reaches the full level. Sacrifice Requirements. 1 drop of natal essence blood is required for warming and nourishing every day, and 1 drop of natal essence blood can increase the progress of the upgrade by 1 point. Hiss. It's so heaven-defying. The attribute of being too forgetful made Chen Qing gasp. One must know that his true Qi content at this moment is like the difference between a lake and a pond compared to when he was in the rank 3 peak GU master state. However, at this moment, this feeling of being too forgetful is enough to fully increase his true energy by 3 times. Chen Qing feels that even a rank 4 GU master's late-stage Qi content is no more than that, right? Definitely, the most against the heavens is definitely not the increased true Qi content. It's the terrifying true energy recovery speed and the boosted power. A rank 4 GU worm whose power has been increased by 3 times is probably enough to pose a threat to enemies at the top god level. Coupled with the GU formation that has also been amplified by 1.5 times, Chen Qing even has the confidence to touch the existence of the top god level. Even if it is paired with those magics, Chen Qing feels that even in the face of a top god like Ant Surprise, he can handle it with certainty. Definitely, whether it will work or not will not be known until after the fight. Now that Ant Marvel is still enforcing justice in the universe, Chen Qing has no chance to touch her for the time being. Moreover, this is just a rank 4 GU treasure. If it can be raised to rank 5 or even higher, I am afraid that it will be of great help even in the face of the existence of the level Godfather. A trace of fire flashed in Chen Qing's eyes. He has been craving Eye of Agamotto from Ancient One Magician for a long time. It's a pity that Ancient One Magician said that he can inherit Eye of Agamotto only after he becomes Sorcerer Supreme. Therefore, Chen Qing had no choice but to give up his peeping at Eye of Agamotto. Definitely, he wasn't really envious of Eye of Agamotto's ability. It's just envious that Ancient One Magician can have a powerful equipment. For example, Odin's Eternal Gun, Thor's current Meow Hammer, and the future Stormbreaker. Those are magic weapons that perfectly fit each other. And now, he also has such a powerful magic weapon. Take out too much forgetfulness, Chen Qing said silently in her heart. The next moment, a flute measuring 3 feet and 9 inches long, weighing 62 taels of cash, and milky white all over, appeared in Chen Qing's hands like a long snake winding its way. Just the moment he saw it, Chen Qing was deeply attracted by the exquisite appearance of the flute in front of him. This is so forgetful, it looks like a work of art. At the same time, Chen Qing could feel the true energy in his dantian boiling up. A constant stream of true energy flowed down his arm and poured into his dantian. Let the infuriating energy, which was already incomparably broad, become even more magnificent. If this triple effect can last forever, the increase will be terrifying. Chen Qing played with Taisheng Wangqing and exclaimed. However, Taisheng Wangqing still has a very high room for growth, so he doesn't need to worry about falling behind. In addition, the immortal King Ji Ding can also increase his true energy recovery ability. If he is on the battlefield in the future, with the immortal King Ji tripod on his head and Taisheng Wangqing in his hand, he might be able to directly transform into a perpetual motion machine. Chen Qing then set his sights on another rank 4 GU insect alienation GU that was signed in this time. Alienation GU. Level. 4 turns. Ability. If the Alienation GU eats the blood or hair of the alienated target, it can activate the Alienation GU to alienate itself into the appearance of the target, and possess all the abilities and characteristics of the opponent, but it can only alienate the target at the 4th rank. Advanced Rank 5 GU Insect Requirements. Shapeshifting Flower X100, Flesh and Blood Jade X100, Century-Old Poisonous Insect X3. Feeding Requirements. Need to consume 4 turns of blood essence by 5 per day. Another ability GU Worm Against the Sky. Chen Qing couldn't help taking a breath. This means that if he can have the same level of alienation GU as Ancient One Magician, then he can directly transform into the Ancient One Magician, and master all the abilities of the One. Definitely, the value of this GU worm is not reflected in duels. This alienation GU can be used on one's own people. Then, you can have one more powerful combat force on your side. The 4-turn level is enough to correspond to the God level. Although it may only be the lowest God level, Wei is also a God level existence. God level combat power can play a huge role on the battlefield, and its role is definitely no less than that of Thor during the Avengers Alliance 1 period. The sign and rewards this time are simply earned in blood. But just when Chen Qing was overjoyed, a sudden change occurred outside the mirror space. As Hulk, Bruce Banner, who has lost his mind, sees his girlfriend Betty Ross lying on the ground and passed out. Although hesitation lasted for a while, he finally hammered down heavily with red eyes. With the power of 100 tons that Hulk possesses at the moment, even the most advanced M1A1 main battle tank in the Yingjiang country can be crushed directly. Not to mention just immortal Betty Ross. Once these fists are let down, this little white girl will die in vain. The 3 Hydra Special Response Troops and the Magician Special Combat Team who were watching from the sidelines all had expressions of unbearable expression in their eyes. This can also be regarded as the empathy of human beings for the weak and weak. However, they were all suppressed and did not make a move at the moment. After all, the order they received was only to protect the safety of Bruce Banner. As for things other than missions, that's not something these little soldiers can interfere with. Moreover, they believe in their own organization, which is an organization formed to protect the Earth and defend all human beings. Since the organization has no other actions, it must have its own reasons. And just when Hulk was about to smash Betty Ross with one fist, the space between him and Betty Ross shattered like a mirror. Then, a fist that looked like a toy compared to Hulk's fist protruded from the shattered mirror. I can't let you kill her. Otherwise Dr. Banner may never get out. A somewhat gentle voice came from the shattered mirror. Hulk didn't care so much, his heart was filled with extreme anger, but he increased his strength a bit. The fist, which was as big as half the body of an ordinary person, directly created a terrifying hurricane. At this moment, the power of Hulk's fist is absolutely no less than that of a locomotive speeding at full speed. At least, the eyes of those from the 9-tailed fox special response team and the magician special forces all widened. Definitely, no one felt that the owner of that hand would be hammered. After all, every magician who can use the mirror space is so powerful that it is abnormal. According to the division of strength within the organization, they are all God-level existences. Dealing with a mere big guy, how could he be in danger? Therefore, they are still commenting more on the power of this punch. It's unbelievable. Just by mutating, an ordinary person can have such a powerful power. It makes me want to mutate too. Hehe, mutation. That's his affectionate girlfriend. Okay, if you say it, you'll be hammered, you want that too. Are you strong? You have changed your mind, haha. However, which boss made the move this time? I feel that the space of this scene is so compelling, it's a pity that I don't have the ability to learn magic. Looking at his hands, he should be a very young man, he won't be our big boss. How is it possible? The big boss manages a lot of things every day, how can I come to such a place? Sure enough, except for Hulk, this fist did not exceed everyone's expectations. Boom. Accompanied by a huge amount of air waves, all the surrounding paper and sand and dust were blown away. Hulk's huge fist was actually taken by the big white hand from the depths of the mirrored space. Even Hulk couldn't help being stunned by this scene, he didn't expect his attack to be received so easily. Hulk even had the illusion that his fist hit the mountain range. But what followed was endless anger. Hulk couldn't accept this result. His attack was actually caught. How can this work? Roar! Hulk growled angrily, and was about to withdraw his fist and continue to attack. However, that gentle voice rang out again. It's almost done, don't be endless. The next moment, Vibration's hand tightened suddenly. Click! Hulk's phalanx, which was even comparable to steel, was broken directly under the incomparable force. Hulk let out a growl of pain. He wanted to try to open the palm like a pliers. However, before Hulk's big hand approached, the hand moved again. Accompanied by an unmatched force, Hulk was directly lifted into the air, and then fell heavily to the ground. Boom! The huge amounts of vibration even caused countless cracks on the ground of the laboratory. Betty Ross, who was unconscious on the ground, was even sent flying by the shock. It can be seen how huge the force of this fall is. Those members of the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Team and the Magician Special Warfare Team hiding in the dark bared their teeth with pained expressions. This fall they seemed to feel that their bones were aching. And Hulk, who suffered the fall, also showed a painful expression on his face. At the same time, green blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. Hulk directly suffered serious internal injuries from this fall. However, Chen Qing did not stop there. He stepped out of the mirror space in one step, then lifted Hulk's finger, and fell down again. Boom! The walls of the laboratory directly collapsed in a large area. Under Chen Qing's berserk power, together with Hulk who is a peerless soldier, the two directly merged into a super push team. Definitely, at the same time as the shot, Chen Qing also ordered the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Team and the Magician Special Operations Team, take away all those who are still alive except Betty Ross. These scientists in the laboratory can become the leaders of this experiment. In terms of scientific research ability, it is naturally remarkable. His Scarlet Great Wall needs such talents. Disobedient, unwilling. It doesn't matter, no one can resist such a temptation after witnessing the extraordinary power. Do you think anyone else can resist such a temptation? It doesn't matter, the various GU worms with magical powers in the Contribution Exchange Mall are enough to wipe out the rest of these people. Shouyuan that can increase lifespan. The brute force beetle that can make people have a strong physique. The Qingfang GU that can make people have the wind ability flight ability. Capable of amputating limbs. The reborn one-time green butterfly GU. Which GU worm here is not enough to make outsiders crazy? Even if it's not for yourself, then you have to think about it for your family. What's more, the technology of the Scarlet Great Wall is also at the forefront of the earth, so Chen Qing doesn't need to worry about not being able to attract other people. And those Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Team and Magician Special Warfare Team who received the command also saw Chen Qing's appearance clearly at this moment, and also received Chen Qing's order. They also couldn't help sighing. Your Excellency is really thoughtful, we don't need to think too much about it. That is, those of us with average brains can just execute the order well. The Scarlet Great Wall is an organization that protects all human beings, how could it be possible to refuse to save them? Haha, well, let's go to work. But the leader is really amazing. At this moment, Chen Qing had already grabbed Hulk and came outside the laboratory. In the face of absolute strength, Hulk has no strength to struggle. His whole body was like a baseball bat being beaten constantly by Chen Qing. There were even two huge amounts of deep pits on the opposite side because of the beating, just like the scene when Hulk will deal with Loki in the future. After smashing it a dozen times, seeing Hulk rolling his eyes, Chen Qing put Hulk down. However, he saw immediately that Hulk's injuries began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. This physical body is really resistant. Chen Qing clicked his tongue twice and said. Those flesh wounds before had no effect on Hulk at all. I am afraid that only those injuries with severed limbs can be regarded as serious injuries to Hulk. Otherwise, even with a big hole in his heart, Chen Qing felt that Hulk might survive. Hulk shook his head in a short while, regaining consciousness. However, this time he didn't take the initiative to attack Chen Qing, and even subconsciously took a few steps back, looking at Chen Qing with a little more fear in his eyes. Obviously, Hulk was full of fear for Chen Qing, who was even more monster than himself. Roar! After yelling at Chen Qing in a demonstrative manner, Hulk turned around and ran into the distance. Hulk, who has not yet weakened his strength, can jump out of a height of tens of meters with a single leap, directly across the 100-meter canyon. It is not comparable to Dr. Hulk in the later Avengers Alliance. Chen Qing did not catch up, and let Hulk develop freely, so that the plot of Invincible Hulk can continue. However, judging from the fact that Hulk almost killed Bruce Banner's girlfriend this time, I'm afraid there will be some changes in the plot this time. Looks like I'm going to have to keep an eye on Hulk and Tony a little bit. What really happened in the province caused the collapse of the plot, so that he lost many opportunities to sign in. At this time, a portal suddenly opened beside Chen Qing. A few figures wearing special black robes, with a red Great Wall branded on their chests, walked out of the gate. My lord, those people have all been settled. In addition, Betty Ross has also been placed in a safe place, and her life is not in danger for the time being. The leading magician said respectfully. The opponent's eyes under the robe could clearly see the color of fanaticism. Chen Qing is the only one who has a strong cultivation physique, and has also cultivated magic, and has a powerful 5-star existence. Therefore, Chen Qing's status in this group of magicians from Kamar Taj is very high. It even reached the point of fanatical worship. In the hearts of these magicians who came out of Kamar Taj, Chen Qing's status is second only to Ancient One magician. Well, you've done a good job, and you've been bothering to monitor Bruce Banner's affairs. I always feel that something will happen. Chen Qing patted that magician's shoulder and said softly. Yes, yes, mission accomplished. The magician first looked at the place where his shoulder was patted in shock, and then yelled in response. He swore that after he went back, he would not wash this place for 3 years. In addition, he has to carefully treasure this piece of clothing that was photographed by his idol. Soon, Chen Qing and others left this laboratory one after another. At the same time, those who rushed over after hearing the movement also saw the devastated laboratory. And the damage was very serious, as if there were traces of monsters fighting. Reminiscent of the monster that suddenly flied away before. They naturally figured out that the monster that rushed out of the laboratory fled here after wreaking havoc. God, what kind of monster is that? A group of people covered their faces, watching a big hole in the wall of the laboratory, and 2 huge amounts of deep pits on the grass, discussing in shock. And the news here was quickly known by General Ross. As the father of Betty Ross, Thaddeus E. Ross exuded a gloomy breath when he saw his daughter lying on the hospital bed covered in injuries. Monster! How dare he hurt my daughter? General Ross tightly clenched his fists, his tone was murderous. As an old woman, and his wife passed away early, Betty Ross has always been his little princess in his hands. However, now his little princess was hurt by a monster, and he couldn't allow that monster to still be at large. General, the colored phosphorus essence has been dispatched urgently. I believe that the young lady's injury will recover soon. An adjutant followed behind General Ross, comforting. Okay. General Ross sat in a chair and watched his daughter fall into a deep silence. But anyone can see the storm in General Ross's eyes at the moment. Color phosphorus essence is the product launched by Scarlet Great Wall before. It has a powerful therapeutic effect, and now it has been widely used in Long Country. However, because of the Stark Group, Eagle Sauce Country has also enjoyed a lot of shares. It is the second largest country in the world to enjoy the color phosphorus essence. It's just that the chaebols of the Yingjiang country were separated, and capital took control of the country. Such good things were immediately bought up by those capitalists. In addition, those pharmaceutical giants will not allow such highly effective drugs on the market to affect their business. Therefore, the amount of color phosphorus essence revealed on the market is very rare. Even General Ross, as a lieutenant general of the Air Force, still needs to call to obtain a colored phosphorus essence. Definitely, it's not that there is no pharmaceutical giant in the Eagle Sauce country who wants to take action against the behind-the-scenes company that developed the color phosphorus essence. But that night, these capitalists were interviewed by a group of mysterious forces. Then the other party became more honest. This once became the biggest doubt in the hearts of all capitalists. It's just that those people who were interviewed kept silent about these things, and instead publicized the goodness of the colorful phosphorus essence. This also makes these capitals extremely afraid of these companies that are branded with a red Great Wall. The topic is far away. Not long after, 3 colored phosphorus essences were brought in. In order to avoid any accidents to his daughter, General Ross specially used his authority to call in 3 colored phosphorus essences. However, this is already the limit of what he can do with his identity. Watching the first colored phosphorus essence being drunk by his daughter. At the same time, her daughter's injuries began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. General Ross calmed down a little. But he didn't relax immediately. After all, her daughter's real injury came from inside her body, and it was a very serious impact injury. It's useless to just heal the skin trauma. Continue. General Ross spoke to the doctor immediately. The doctor who was in charge of feeding Betty Ross the medicine immediately fed the second color phosphorus essence without any hesitation. Although it only needs the effect of a single colored phosphorus essence, Betty Ross's body can recover quickly, and her life is out of danger. However, a few more can make Betty Ross recover quickly. For his daughter, General Ross is naturally not stingy at all. After seeing that her daughter had improved significantly, she immediately asked the doctor to continue without any hesitation, and fed the third essence. And under the action of 3 colorful phosphorus essences, Betty Ross not only fully recovered from her physical injuries. At the same time, even the skin becomes as delicate as a freshly peeled egg. And Betty Ross sat up from the hospital bed at this moment, and at the same time shouted, "Banner!" General Ross watched his daughter become alive and well, and the heart in his throat was relieved. "HMPH, what happened to you in the lab? Why was it destroyed like that?" General Ross snorted coldly and asked with a straight face. Betty Ross, who was anxious about Banner in her heart, immediately turned her head when she heard her father's voice. When she saw her father standing beside her, her face suddenly showed joy. She grabbed his father's arm and said, "Father, Banner. It's Banner. He turned into a monster out of control due to gamma rays. You must help me find him. He must be very frightened now." When General Ross heard this, his heart suddenly jumped. That monster is Bruce Banner. General Ross still knows something about his daughter's little boyfriend. A somewhat talented physicist who has studied 8 doctoral degrees at the same time is barely qualified to match his daughter. However, what moved General Ross even more was the terrifying power displayed by Bruce Banner. "Since the last time I saw the powerful strength of the Dragon Kingdom man named Chen Qing." General Ross understood deeply that technology, at least for now, is absolutely inferior to the strength of those monsters. The soldiers under him would only be massacred one-sidedly when they encountered those monsters. Therefore, if you want to restrain these monsters, you can only rely on the existence of those monsters who are also monsters. As for Bruce Banner, who possesses extremely strong strength, in the eyes of General Ross, he is obviously a very good target. "Don't worry, I will help you find Bruce Banner, my daughter." General Ross took his daughter into his arms and said gently. However, although General Ross's tone was very gentle, the expression on his face was extremely terrifying, just like the thoughts in his heart at the moment. At the same time, S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury also saw the video of Hulk. Although all the monitoring around the laboratory was destroyed by the gamma-ray burst at that time. However, the scene of Hulk's escape does not miss the sight of S.H.I.E.L.D., which monitors the world. "This green monster feels interesting." Nick Fury rubbed his chin and muttered. With such huge amounts of a monster, no matter how you think about it, it is impossible for him to jump because of it. If he can control such a monster in his hands, he may have more confidence in facing the man in the Dragon Kingdom in the future. Definitely, he still remembered what the man said last time. And after several trials, the result really made him feel chilly. The name of the Snake and Shield Bureau is indeed well deserved. Even the previous director of S.H.I.E.L.D. seems to be a member of Hydra. After the other party took office, he mobilized many personnel overtly and secretly. This means that the entire S.H.I.E.L.D. may have been rotten to the bone during the period when the other party took office. Although in the past 6 months, he cut out a lot of people suspected of Hydra. However, Nick Fury can still confirm that there are still many Hydra people in S.H.I.E.L.D. In addition, he also found out the reason why Chen Qing went to the S.H.I.E.L.D. branch in New Jersey last time. There is actually a computer hosted by Annie Mazzola, the soul of Hydra. Moreover, Annie Zola was also suspected of being involved in the plan to help Obadiah Stane build a steel battle suit, which almost killed Tony Stark. What does this mean? This means that Annie Zola, the soul of Hydra, even has the ability to interfere with the outside world. Coupled with the huge amounts of robot body left by the other party. This means that even if the other party wants to leave the SHIELD branch in New Jersey, it is a breeze. This discovery made Nick Fury feel chills again. If it wasn't for Chen Qing, he might still be kept in the dark, and SHIELD will also become the back garden of Snake Shield. But, no matter what, SHIELD is the shield of Eagle Sauce Country. As an incomparably powerful Dragon Kingdom native, Chen Qing is the primary target of SHIELD's defense. Nick Fury picked up the phone on the table, and then dialed a number. Help me contact Carter Agent, Hawkeye Agent, and Falcon Agent, I have a task for them to do. Mentioning this, Nick Fury can't help but feel a little proud. This is a special organization he formed called Avengers, which is specially used to deal with unconventional existences like Chen Qing. Now, his Avengers already have Black Widow Natasha Romanoff, Hawkeye Kaylin Tabarton and Falcon Sam Wilson. Although there are only 3 of them, these 3 are far beyond what ordinary people can compare. Black Widow's infiltration and information gathering ability. Hawkeye's unparalleled archery and fighting ability, as well as the sharp eyesight like an eagle. Coupled with the Falcon's ability to flexibly control the flight device, just like the real Falcon, the ability to kill enemies at high altitude. Those are the real trump cards in his hands, and they are also people who can be absolutely trusted. Originally, he also wanted to invite Tony Stark, the Iron Man, to join the Avengers. Take the steel battle suit shown by Tony Stark. Tony Stark's combat power is definitely much stronger than the 3 people in his hands now. Even relying on the opponent's smart brain, maybe he can upgrade a wave of equipment for the 3 superheroes on his side. However, it was a pity that when he contacted Tony Stark, he found that the other party was not at home. According to Pepper Potts, Tony Stark went to further training. Where the hell can Ned Stark go to study? Could it be the Scarlet Great Wall built in Dragon Kingdom? Nick Fury did not continue to think deeply about this. After all, he didn't think Tony would join an organization suspected to be formed by Dragon Kingdom. At this time, someone knocked on the door of his office. Come in. Nick Fury put his hands on his chest and said aloud. After hearing the voice, Black Widow, Hawkeye and Falcon walked in one by one. Do you have anything to do with us? Hawkeye, who looked like an eagle with sharp eyes, came out and asked. Nothing. Nothing else, just let you watch a video of a monster and see if you can bring him back. With a slight nudge, Nick Fury pushed a slab toward the trio. I saw that on the tablet. What was being displayed was a picture taken by a mobile phone. In the picture, a big green naked guy roared and jumped into the air tens of meters high. With just a few jumps, he jumped thousands of meters away and disappeared into the screen. The corners of the eyes of the 3 of them twitched when they saw this scene. Falcon even said directly, "Excuse me, do you want us to die?" Facing this kind of monster with a jump of tens or even hundreds of meters, he didn't think he could compete with it. The opponent probably only needs to slap him, and he can be smashed directly. Although Black Widow and Hawkeye didn't speak, their eyes said everything, and they were also waiting for Nick Fury's explanation. If it is this kind of death mission, they will not go. Especially Hawkeye, he has his own family, and he doesn't want to die in vain. Don't worry, definitely is not asking you to die. Nick Fury dragged the tablet back, then called up a line of information, and pushed it back again. What is being displayed on the screen at this moment is the information of Bruce Banner. As the director of SHIELD, the intelligence department under Nick Fury is naturally very powerful. In addition, Nick Fury was originally a 10th level agent, still has 2 brushes, and has countless informants. It is naturally not a problem to obtain the identity of that green monster. See Black Widow, Hawkeye, they are studying the information on the tablet, Nick Fury continued. According to reliable information, this monster is caused by gamma rays. Alien, with extremely cruel and ferocious temperament, since only Betty Ross, the girlfriend of Bruce Banner, was left on the scene, so I suspect that this monster has the tendency of cannibalism, so be careful when catching them. Quote, however, Black Widow and the others still looked at Nick Fury with that look of "you kidding me? Let them face monsters of this level, is this really a serious?" Although their strength is not bad, it is only for ordinary people. In the face of these real monsters, whether it is Black Widow or Hawkeye or Falcon, there is no good way. After all, it can be seen from the fact that rushing to the opponent can break through the concrete wall. The flash of this monster is absolutely extremely hard, and their weapons may not be able to break through the defense. Nick Fury obviously noticed this too. He coughed lightly and said, "Don't worry, your main purpose is to find out the other party's location when the real arrest starts. There will be an army to cooperate with you. Can this monster still stop tanks and planes?" Upon hearing this, Black Widow and Hawkeye looked at each other. It seems to be true. They have a deep understanding of the power of tanks and aircraft. The explosive power is even enough to easily destroy the missiles of a building, and more than 6 missiles can be carried on a plane. Even tank shells can easily smash 10 walls. No matter how you think about it, they are not completely without opportunities. What's more, they don't need them as the main force in this battle, they only need to assist, which is not unacceptable. Okay, we have accepted this task. After making up his mind, Hawkeye spoke among the three. "Good luck, I'm at home waiting for you." Nick Fury smiled slightly, pretending to be gentle and said. However, his originally appearance is more ferocious. This act of being gentle at the moment directly aroused the discomfort of Black Widow and the three of them. Without even speaking to Nick Fury, he just disappeared into the office. After a while, a Harrier fighter plane took off from the SHIELD headquarters and quickly disappeared into the sky. As for the Green Titan, there is nothing worthy of attention for the time being. Chen Qing returned directly to Kamar Taj. Next, he was going to intervene in Thor's affairs. After all, this is related to a large number of sign-in rewards, and it is impossible for him to just give up in vain. However, this matter requires Odin to nod. At this stage, Odin's lifespan has actually reached its limit, but due to the characteristics of the Asgard people. Now Odin is also the most powerful moment of his life. Even some other existences of the level single universe dare not easily provoke Odin in this state. In the extreme 1-for-1 situation, even other existences of the level single universe may suffer a big loss under Odin's hands. "You want me to accompany you to Asgard?" In the main hall of Kamar Taj, Ancient One Magician looked at Chen Wei with a smile and asked. "Well, Thor is very important to us, and he can be regarded as an indispensable combat force. In the future, his strength will not be inferior to level God Father. Coupled with the powerful troops of Asgard, it is very necessary for us to win." Chen Qing nodded and said, "If you can win an old god system kingdom, it will be even stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme lineage of Ancient One Magician. After all, the number of people in the Supreme lineage is not too many. After all, not everyone has the magical ability, and there is still the ability to find Kamar Taj. But the Aesir Protoss led by Odin is different. After so many years of fighting, the Aesir Protoss has a strong army. If not for the death of the King Odin, the Aesir Protoss will not be reduced to a few hundred people in the end. Well, if we can get the Aesir Protoss to join us, the Scarlet Great Wall will indeed be much stronger. However, how are you sure that Odin will agree to join? The King of Asgard is not a good-tempered existence." Ancient One Magician put down the book, shook his head and said. Although Odin has gradually aged over the years, it seems that his personality has restrained a lot. However, the Ancient One Magician, who has lived for more than 700 years, knows very well what Odin once looked like. It is precisely because of Odin's violent personality that the Aesir Protoss has the so-called 9 Realms territory. Such a person is not so easy to communicate with. Even Scarlet Long City has a good status in the entire universe because of her joining. However, facing a powerhouse like Odin, that is at best just an equal. If you want the other party to join the Scarlet Great Wall, that is simply a dream. At least, the Ancient One Magician couldn't find any reason to let Odin join the Scarlet Great Wall. However, Chen Qing, who is familiar with the plot, is not worried at all. "What if I say, Odin is approaching the end of his life?" Chen Qing said solemnly. "If this news is spread, it will definitely cause huge turmoil in the entire universe. Asgard will definitely bear the brunt of this, too. After all, the 9 realms that Asgard has ruled over the years have long attracted the attention of countless forces. The various treasures in it are definitely enough to make everyone greedy. Once Odin really dies, and if Asgard has a powerful god to stand up, then what awaits Asgard is absolute destruction. This news made Ancient One Magician's expression change instantly, and she directly raised her hand. Layer upon layer of mirrors instantly appeared in the surrounding houses, completely sealing off the area where the two were located. This news is too big, because even the Ancient One Magician feels like it belongs to him. If the news is true and gets out, then Odin must be furious, and then at the last moment of his life, get rid of the leaker. And Odin in that state, even she is in danger of falling. Ancient One Magician also asked solemnly, "Where did you get this news? Is it accurate?" Chen Qing did not hide the fact that Ancient One Magician nodded and said, "You can think that I have the prophetic ability, the information is basically confirmed to be correct. Odin is more than 7,000 years old, even if he has the blood of Asgard, this age is too old, it's the limit. Although the blood of Asgard is strong, it can make people stronger as they get older. However, it is not an unlimited race. Many Asgardians are already at their limit when they reach the level universe. Those with a higher bloodline, the god level is the limit. As for those like Odin who have reached the peak of level Godfather all the way, it can only be said that their personal strength is extraordinary. It is the existence with the most powerful bloodline among the Aesir Protoss. Even Brother Hammer is much worse than him. Is that so?" The Ancient One Magician didn't doubt Chen Qing's words, but stood up and paced back and forth. She knew very well what Odin's death meant, which meant chaos in the 9 realms, even the earth would be affected as well. Even if the land is in town, those people dare not mess around. However, it is undeniable that all parties in the universe still fear Odin. After all, she has been restrained too much by Dormammu, and her reputation in the entire universe is not particularly great. Many people don't even know she exists. If once Odin dies, it will inevitably encounter troubles, and there will be a lot of troubles. However, she can't take the initiative to expose her situation. After all, no one knows whether those people will contact Dormammu, and let Dormammu descend into the main universe from the other hand. And Chen Qing naturally knew the troubles of the Ancient One Magician. He stretched out his palm, summoned a golden silkworm with long fingers, and said, "So, this thing is the chip I offered to Odin, but I can't be sure whether this thing it can work for Odin, please help me see." The Ancient One Magician set his sights on the golden silkworm in Chen Qing's palm, and asked curiously, "What is this?" "Shou-ji Yu, a small method that can increase lifespan. If it is an ordinary person, it can increase lifespan by 80 years, but for strong people like you, I'm not sure about it." Chen Qing replied. The outrageous point in Marvel is that these powerful and boundless existences are actually limited by their lifespans. The Ancient One Magician is precisely because he wants to get rid of the threat of death. So I chose to absorb the power of darkness to maintain my lifespan. That's why she extended her original lifespan of more than 100 years to more than 700 years. And a peak-level godfather like Odin, although due to racial reasons, has lived for more than 7,000 years, but now he has reached the end of his lifespan. Only with the existence of those level single universes can one really not need to worry about lifespan limitations. However, for the existence of the level Godfather level, the physical body is too strong. So much so that Chen Qing didn't know if the longevity GU at rank 4 would work. "Shou-ji Yu. Can I use it?" The Ancient One Magician stretched out his hand to take the golden silkworm from Chen Qing's hand, and asked. This kind of thing is extremely precious just by hearing the name. Things that can increase one's lifespan, even in the entire universe, are enough to make everyone crazy. But it's a pity that this kind of thing doesn't exist, otherwise she wouldn't need to absorb the power of darkness to maintain her lifespan. However, she didn't realize that Chen Qing took out such a small thing. Although I don't know if it will work for a strong person like her, it still makes her feel very miraculous. After all, Chen Qing obviously has an infinite future, and the other party's path will be longer and farther than hers. In the future, maybe there will be GU worms that will play a great role in level Godfather powerhouses like her. Definitely yes, just swallow it. Chen Qing nodded and said. He just happened to be able to collect the physical data of level Godfather powerhouses. Before, he was embarrassed to say to Ancient One Magician, a level Godfather, that he wanted to collect the opponent's body data. But now that the opportunity is so rare, Chen Qing will naturally not miss it. Ancient One Magician didn't because she had natural trust in Chen Qing. Coupled with the Eye of Agamotto on the chest, she can easily reverse time and go back to the time before she didn't eat. Therefore, she was even less worried about any accidents. However, to the surprise of Ancient One Magician, when she swallowed the golden silkworm, the feeling of eating insects that she imagined did not appear. After the golden silkworm entered her mouth, it immediately turned into a cold liquid and slid into her stomach. The next moment, Ancient One Magician clearly felt a strong vitality burst out from his body. Even the dark power absorbed in the body before has been suppressed. At the same time, she also obviously felt that her body had become much younger. No, maybe it shouldn't be said that way. It's not that she's getting younger, but because the upper limit of her life has been raised. That's why she felt that way. It's amazing, because it has improved my life insurance for about 5 years. However, because I am a magician, my body is not particularly strong, so the resistance to this longevity GU will be lower. If it is Odin, I am afraid that it will only increase my lifespan by less than a year at most. Ancient One Magician felt the increased vitality in his body, and gave such an evaluation. Chen Qing was not surprised by this. After all, longevity GU is just a rank 4 GU worm, and it is not easy to be able to work against a top-level godfather like Ancient One Magician. However, this will also give him a trump card for negotiation when facing Odin. In addition, the Ancient One Magician is also there to help him get the bottom line. At least, with the Ancient One Magician, a powerful level godfather, by his side, Chen Qing doesn't need to worry about Odin's robbing. Don't look at the movie. Odin expressed his objection to Thor's rush to kill the Frost Titans, saying that peace is hard-won, and he doesn't want to destroy it easily. In fact, the truth is that Odin knew he was dying. And his son didn't have the ability to take over his plate. Therefore, I told Thor that peace is hard-won, and don't be too impulsive in doing things. Otherwise, once he died, his stupid son would be stabbed to death by those enemies on the spot. But it would be a joke if Odin was really a good guy. Odin is a good man. He kidnapped the Prince of Frost Titan and took him back as a hostage. He even wiped out the Flame Titan family, and even brought back the king of the other Flame Titan family to seal it. Odin's treasure curry, which stores Odin's iron blood and cruelty. If it weren't for the support of the Ancient One Magician, Chen Qing wouldn't dare to negotiate terms with Odin. Then we should have the capital to negotiate terms with Odin, right? Chen Qing asked the Ancient One Magician. The Ancient One Magician shook his head and said, "It's not enough now, we're still short of something." Chen Qing looked at the Ancient One Magician with some doubts, not understanding what was missing. The Ancient One Magician waved his hand, and the mirror space immediately appeared. There are huge amounts of reverse. Then, a distorted space filled with boundless darkness appeared in front of the two of them. Endless evil aura swarmed over immediately. Chen Qing frowned immediately. The dead silence on the other side made him feel extremely uncomfortable. At this time, Ancient One Magician followed up and said, "There is a saying among the big countries on the earth called nuclear deterrence, and we also need this kind of deterrence when facing Odin. Otherwise, with Odin's character, he may not take action because he is afraid of me." Quote, as a level godfather who is also in the so-called 9 realms, she knows Odin very well. Is it true that there is no level godfather among the Frost Titans and Flame Titans? That is of course impossible. If there was no strong person from the level godfather, the original war would not be worthy of being recorded in the history of Asgard. However, those level godfather powerhouses were still beheaded and dismounted in front of Odin, or directly sealed away. What that means, part means is that Odin simply won't compromise. If there is nothing enough to scare Odin, that old guy will definitely choose to use force. No matter how bad it is, I will definitely try. And Chen Qing also understood the plan of Ancient One Magician at this moment. So we're borrowing Dormammu's deterrence. A bright light flashed in Chen Qing's eyes, and she asked aloud. The Ancient One Magician nodded with a smile. Definitely, after defending against his invasion for so long, it is right to use him to deter others. When she traveled in the endless multi-universe, she used this method quite often. Otherwise, in those dangerous universes, even a strong-level godfather like her may fall. At this moment, Ancient One Magician also started his own actions. She raised her hand directly in the dark dimension, took out a large part of the source of darkness, and then quickly closed the mirror space. Chen Qing could clearly feel that the moment the Ancient One magician did this, the entire dark space boiled up. Moreover, there is a group of extremely evil terrorist forces flying towards this side quickly. At the same time, faster than this group of power is a roar full of anger. Ancient One, I beep beep beep, you beep 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 beep. But Ancient One magician seemed very calm about this, and didn't take these unsightly words to heart at all. Instead, he held the big dark source in a happy mood, and said, okay, this is enough to make that old guy Odin calm down, he can pass through this dark. The source feels the terror of Dormammu. Seeing Chen Qing looking at himself with a strange expression, Ancient One added, oh, Dormammu is like this, he who inherited the darkness of the universe was originally a collection of filth. Let's ignore him. Quote, after all, the Ancient One magician directly closed the entrance to the dark dimension. And at the moment before closing, Chen Qing seemed to see Dormammu's distraught face. This made Chen Qing's expression even weirder. It seems that no matter which Sorcerer Supreme is a good person. The future Doctor Strange tricks Dormammu with the Eye of Agamotto, and the Ancient One magician steals the power of darkness directly in Dormammu's face. No matter which Sorcerer Supreme it is, it doesn't take Dormammu, the master of the dark dimension, seriously. Inexplicably, Chen Qing felt that Dormammu was so pitiful. Definitely, this thought is only fleeting. Dormammu, as another powerhouse in the peak-level single universe, has nothing to be pitiful about. In comparison, wouldn't he be more pitiful if he needed to be intimidated by Dormammu even to negotiate a condition with Odin? Okay, let's get ready to go, I happen to have the coordinates of Asgard here. As the Ancient One magician spoke, he drew a portal directly in front of him. On the other side, it was the scene of Asgard that Chen Qing once saw in the movie. In a typical classical European court. Chapter 91. It's been a long time since I've been here. The Ancient One magician sighed. Then, holding the source of darkness that was compressed into a black ball, he walked leisurely into the portal. The last time she was in Asgard was hundreds of years ago. At that time she had wanted to invite Odin to fight Dormammu together. After all, once Dormammu drags Earth into the dark dimension, it basically destroys Odin's territory. But unfortunately, the conversation between the two parties was not particularly pleasant. Although there was no real conflict. But the relationship between the two parties has basically become stalemate. However, she didn't expect that she would return to Asgard one day. And, if she guessed right, Odin also couldn't skip the temptation to live. At least as long as Thor can grow to be independent, Odin will definitely persevere even if it is difficult. Chen Qing didn't speak, but quietly followed the Ancient One magician. It wasn't him who was the mainstay of the conversation this time. Although his current strength should have reached the top god level. But compared to the existence of the level Godfather level, it is still no different from ants. At best, he's just enough for Odin to remember his name. However, Chen Qing is not dissatisfied. He is already proud of being able to grow to where he is now in just half a year. To put it bluntly, even against Thanos. Well, although he can't beat Thanos with combat experience, it's fine if he just wants to run away. And at the moment when the two of them just stepped into the portal, a burly figure wearing golden armor and holding a golden spear appeared in front of Chen Qing, an Ancient One magician. The man who came was the king of Asgard, Odin. There are few peak-level godfathers in this universe. Moreover, Odin, whose lifespan is about to end at this moment, is definitely one of the most terrifying existences in this universe. Threat ability is hardly inferior to level single universe powerhouses. Ancient One, I don't know what you mean by coming this time. Odin looked at the black ball in Ancient One magician's hand, and asked in a deep voice. He could feel that the owner of the energy in this black ball was extremely powerful. It even made him feel a little suffocated. This means that the opponent is definitely a stronger existence than him. Moreover, this power is full of evil, which makes him feel disgusted instinctively. It can be seen from this that the people behind this group of dark energy are definitely not good people. If not, he would have already started when the Ancient One magician broke into Asgard. Now he is old, like an old lion. If you want to deter the hyenas around you, you must show your still sharp minions. Don't worry, I'm not here to make trouble, on the contrary, I'm here with sincerity. The Ancient One magician still had a smile on his face, and he wasn't moved by Odin's expression at all. Odin didn't speak, but his face gradually became gloomy. Even the eternal gun in his hand began to flicker with golden lightning. Apparently, Odin, who has already fallen into the crisis of dying, has a bit of suspicion in his views on any affairs. It wasn't that Odin was paranoid or something, but that Asgard simply couldn't afford to lose. He couldn't be sure whether Ancient One magician, a powerful level godfather, came to test his state. After all, he suddenly changed Asgard's attitude towards peace, and originally there were huge amounts of problems. He has even been prepared to be tempted by various forces. At the same time, he is also waiting for an opponent with enough weight to play a good record and buy some last time for Asgard and Geir. And now, the appearance of the Ancient One magician may not be an opportunity. If it wasn't for fear of the dark energy in the opponent's hands at this moment, he would have already chosen to do it. And at this moment, the Queen Frigga suddenly appeared beside Odin, took Odin's hand holding the eternal gun and shook his head. Don't do it, I can see that because of the arrival of this human youth, Asgard seems to be turning a corner. Then, she looked at the black energy ball in Ancient One magician's hand, and said solemnly, besides, I still feel boundless evil in this ball of black energy, LL. Odin glanced at Chen Qing behind Ancient One magician, and then at the black energy planet in his tongue. Finally chose to stop. Odin has great trust in his queen. After all, her queen is a top witch in the universe, possessing not only impressive strength, but also the ability to see the future. It seems that you are not the enemy. But can you tell me about the source of this energy? Odin put away the eternal gun, looked at the Ancient One magician and asked aloud. This group is full of evil energy, which makes him very curious. Has there ever been such a powerful force in the known universe? Isn't this the dark energy possessed by Dormammu that I told you before and wanted to invite you to fight together? And this is just a ray of energy that I intercepted. Compared with the dark dimension, it is like the dark energy in Asgard. Take a breath of oxygen. The Ancient One magician said with a little sarcasm. Once she wanted Odin to help her share some of the pressure from Dormammu. However, the Lord of Asgard didn't have the slightest intention of helping her. Even at that time, if she hadn't walked fast enough, even the strong level single universe couldn't keep her. At that time, I am afraid that I will leave something behind. Dormammu. Odin's expression suddenly became serious. Just a ray of dark energy made him feel such huge amounts of pressure. So, how terrifying would Dormammu, who has mastered the entire dark dimension, be? At this moment, Odin also suddenly thought of the Ancient One magician's ability, and his face suddenly became ugly. So if I wanted to do something just now, you should have summoned this Dormammu. Odin did not raise doubts, but described the 10 possibilities. The Ancient One magician shrugged unknowingly, and said with a smile, who knows? But I think that facing the king of God Odin, no matter how vigilant you are, you can't be too vigilant. Although she can't really guide Dormammu into the real universe. But, that's definitely what it says. Moreover, if Dormammu is really summoned, then the earth will not have a good time. An enraged Odin just needs to throw the spear of eternity in his hand. Then, unless there is an existence of the same level as Odin, then Odin's angry blow. Then, the earth must be destroyed by this spear. After all, the effect of the divine weapon of the eternal spear is that as long as it is thrown, it will definitely hit the target. The Ancient One magician's words did not cause any change on Odin's face. Because what Tong Yi said was not wrong. If it wasn't for the end of his lifespan, he wouldn't have tightened his defense either. The king of God Odin only needs to constantly attack, not to defend. However, right now he also wants to know what is so special about Ancient One magician and this young man who his queen said can bring Asgard a better chance. Come with me, since I'm a guest, Asgard, are naturally very welcome. Odin waved his hand and led the way. The 4 of them soon arrived at the main hall where Odin entertained everyone. At the same time, a maid carrying delicacies and fruits came in and quickly arranged them properly. Ancient One magician sat at one table with Chen Qing, and Odin sat at another table with Tiano. Filling up the wine glass, Odin raised the wine glass to Ancient One magician and Chen Qing. This glass is to make amends for my previous actions. After all, outdrank the fine wine in the glass in one gulp. Chen Qing and Ancient One Magician did the same. After drinking this glass of apology wine, the atmosphere between the two parties also eased a lot. And Ancient One Magician and Chen Qing didn't cling to the previous matter, so this matter will pass anyway. Odin was the first to ask. I don't know if you two came to Asgard suddenly, but what is your purpose? Ancient One Magician glanced at Chen Qing, and after seeing Chen Qing nodded, she said with a smile, we came here this time mainly to make a deal with you. This junior by my side has formed a team. The main purpose of the force named Scarlet Great Wall is to protect its own partners, and at the same time to fight back against all intruders. Odin frowned immediately, and asked with deep eyes, you want the Aesir Protoss to join this so-called Scarlet Great Wall? This sentence has already expressed Odin's dissatisfaction. How powerful is the Aesir Protoss? Aside from him, there are 4 or 5 gods alone, more than 30 generals, and more than 8,000 elite soldiers under their banner. How can such a powerful force be incorporated by a mere organization on the earth? Are you really afraid that eating too fast will break your own teeth? It does mean that, after all, I have already joined the Scarlet Great Wall. The Ancient One Magician nodded and smiled. This time, Odin didn't say anything more, but cast his eyes on Chen Qing, who was at the side, and said, then let me see what is so special about this amazing young man. He still understands the power of Ancient One Magician. After all, the opponent is also within the scope of his 9 realms, the only force not under his control. Those magicians who inherited the line of Waishandi. Although not as powerful as the Aesir Protoss, their strength should not be underestimated. Since Ancient One is willing to bring his group of men to join the Scarlet Great Wall, it means that the Scarlet Great Wall formed by the Earth Youth must have something special. At least there is something that can make Ancient One feel excited. And now, Ancient One is even confident that this benefit can impress him, which naturally makes Odin feel very curious. I don't know what it is that can make Ancient One so confident. Chen Qing didn't have any hesitation at the moment. She directly stretched out her palm, showing a long golden silkworm. This is exactly the longevity GU that was shown to Ancient One Magician earlier. Although longevity GU is not a particularly rare GU insect. However, at this moment, it is very appropriate to use it to make a deal with Odin, who is near the end of his lifespan. Definitely, the prerequisite for trading with Odin is that both parties are at least on an equal footing. And with Ancient One Magician, the top-level godfather, beside him, Chen Qing obviously already has this qualification. That's why Chen Qing took out the longevity GU. Otherwise, it is entirely possible for Odin to catch him and force him to ask about the GU worm. Chen Qing has no doubt that Odin will not do this. Because if it was him, he would also do the same thing. Quote. What is this thing? What does it do? Odin asked aloud. He was a little curious about the piece Chen Qing took out. Golden bug. He knew that this thing was the confidence of Chen Qing and Ancient One. It's just that he was a little curious about the function of this thing, which could make Ancient One so confident. This thing is called longevity GU, and if it is an ordinary person, it should be able to increase the lifespan of about 30 years. Chen Qing deliberately weakened the effect of longevity GU, introduced. As the saying goes, sake is famous, and money is touching. If he spoke too well about the effects of longevity GU, I am afraid that once the news leaks out, it will cause great commotion. Chen Qing didn't want to have to deal with guests from outside the universe in the next 3 days. Those people may just want to come to ask for GU worms. It's not good for him to shut the other party out at all. Then the Earth's technology has not yet developed. If Tony didn't have those advanced alien technology charging, the advancement of technology would also be very slow. Even nanotechnology has made a huge breakthrough after obtaining the war wreckage of the Chidori civilization. However, although Chen Qing reduced the effect of longevity GU. But still, Odin and Frigga stood up abruptly. It's no wonder they are so restless, it's because what Chen Qing said is too important to them. Although they are not afraid of death, they are worried about what will happen to Asgard after they die. What about the brothers Thor and Loki? This statement is true. Odin looked at Chen Qing with burning eyes. In an instant, Chen Qing only felt that the whole world was oppressed, and the huge amounts of pressure even made him feel suffocated. At the same time, in his sight, Odin's figure seemed to be infinitely enlarged. Is this the feeling of oppression of the strongest group of people under the level single universe? Chen Qing was shocked in his heart. Under such a terrifying aura, he didn't even have the courage to make a move. Because, as long as you make a move, you will die, and his body's survival instinct tells him not to go out. Definitely, the Ancient One magician beside him also stood up in time, Zhao's, to block the terrifying aura emanating from Odin, and at the same time replied with a smile, "That's natural, I have already taken this longevity GU, and the effect is indeed very good." Quote. Odin's heart skipped a beat. He even considered for a moment whether to capture Chen Qing. However, considering the strength of the Ancient One magician beside him, he resolutely gave up his idea. Not to mention whether he could capture Chen Qing under the protection of the Ancient One magician. Dormammu alone is enough to make him jump the mouse. Once Dormammu came to Asgard, even he was no match for it. For Asgard, this is undoubtedly a huge amounts of catastrophe. The reason why he wants to continue to live is more for Asgard. Naturally, Odin will not choose to chase the end. Therefore, he quickly restrained the fighting spirit in his eyes, but looked at Chen Qing gently, and asked, "So, can you give me an experiment? I can't just trust what you said." Talk. Chen Qing was not stingy either, directly controlling a ray of breeze, lifted the longevity GU and placed it in front of Odin. And Odin wasn't worried about this or that. He swallowed the longevity GU in one gulp. Suddenly, a majestic vitality exploded in Odin's almost exhausted body. Odin only felt like a traveler who had been roasting in the desert for several days, and suddenly drank a glass of cold spring water. Although the life expectancy increased in the end, it is only about half a year. However, this is definitely a great thing for Odin, who has only a few months to live now. And, more importantly, Chen Qing must have the ability to make this golden bug. This also means that he will have a longer lifespan. My dear friend from Earth, you will always be our best friend in Asgard. Odin looked at Chen Qing with warmer eyes, in stark contrast to the way he didn't care before. Odin was very excited at the moment. As long as he can survive, the problems that Asgard will face will no longer be problems. With his powerful strength, as long as he doesn't die for a day, he can suppress the forces of various ethnic groups that are about to move. And, if he lived long enough, he might still have a chance to get a glimpse of higher-level scenery. For example, the strength possessed by those extremely powerful god groups. And once you step into that level, it is said that lifespan will no longer be a problem, and the immortality of the universe will be eternal and immortal. Although how long he can live, the future depends on the young man in front of him. However, compared to dying in despair, the situation is many times better. Chen Qing didn't feel elated because of Odin's enthusiastic attitude. On the contrary, he felt the benefits of being powerful even more. If it wasn't for the Ancient One magician beside him to intimidate Odin, judging from the change in Li Ding's face and momentum just now, he may not be able to walk out from here today. The strength is still too weak. The previous idea must be completed as soon as possible. If the guess is correct, I may be able to improve my strength faster. Chen Qing pondered in his heart, then looked at Odin and said, "It's a great honor for me to be Asgard's friend. The main purpose of coming this time is actually to invite you to bring Asgard to join the Scarlet Great Wall organization. Definitely the organization needs to draw a group of people enter the Scarlet Great Wall to form a special unit, and usually they would not take the initiative to recruit Asgard's fighters, only when facing the crisis of genocide, they would need Asgard's help." This condition made Odin nod. "It's reasonable, but I need to be responsible for my people. I need to know what kind of treatment they will enjoy when they go there, and whether they will perform some missions to send them to death." There was no conflict of interest involved in these remarks. Li Ding was still very concerned about his own people. However, he actually didn't think that his people would enjoy any good treatment after they passed away. After all, even Asgard is nothing more than elite soldiers who can afford less than 10,000. For the treatment, you can refer to the current 4 troops of the Scarlet Great Wall. Chen Qing raised his hand and took out a tablet, and threw it in the direction of Odin. With Odin's knowledge, he naturally knows how to use these things. However, after flipping through these materials, Odin became more and more startled. In Chen Qing's classification, everyone's strength is divided into 6 stages: 543 surface level, level universe, God level, level Godfather, level single universe, and multi-universe level. Moreover, Chen Qing also described the performance categories that these 6 levels should have at the back of each level. Odin can only say that this delineation is indeed very accurate, allowing them to have a good reference object. According to Chen Qing's division method, the strength of Asgard's elite soldiers should be classified as level universe. However, due to their battle-tested and rich combat experience, these elite soldiers belong to the upper reaches and even the top even in the level universe. It is not a problem to form a battle formation together, and even hold back some weaker god-level existences. If you try your best to stop it, even those powerful gods will be unable to move an inch. And those generals of Asgard are classified as god level. As for Asgard gods like Heimdall and Valkyrie, they exist between the god level and the level Godfather. The strength is stronger than the ordinary top god level, but weaker than the real level Godfather. Even his sealed daughter Hela is the same level Godfather as him. It has to be said that this division clearly made him feel the strength of Asgard. However, what shocked Odin the most was the strength of the Scarlet Great Wall. Now, the Scarlet Great Wall has more than 5,000 surface-level reserve soldiers, more than 4,000 level universe active soldiers, and more than 10 god-level existences. Plus top-level Godfather powerhouses like Ancient One Magician. Even Asgard must pay attention to such a force. If there was friction between the two parties, even Asgard would have to pay huge amounts of price to take down the so-called Scarlet Great Wall. Moreover, he can be sure that this is definitely not the background of Ancient One Magician. Although the Sorcerer Supreme series is very mysterious, it is only in front of ordinary people. As the master of the 9 realms, how could Odin not know the strength of the Sorcerer Supreme lineage? The current strength of the Scarlet Great Wall is definitely not brought by people from the Sorcerer Supreme series. Moreover, among the current 4 troops of the Scarlet Great Wall, there is a magician army. Judging by the number of that magician troop, this is exactly those people from the previous line of Sorcerer Supreme. Odin set his sights on Chen Qing, so this group of people was born because of this young man. He then looked at the introductions of the 4 troops. The 9-tailed Fox Special Response Department (CBDF) team is composed of Earth humans, and its combat power is located in the middle and upper reaches of the level universe. It is mainly responsible for the initial investigation of the enemy and dealing with less dangerous enemies. The Magician Special Warfare Unit is composed of the Sorcerer Supreme lineage. Its combat power is located in the middle and upper reaches of the level universe, the top god level. It is mainly responsible for transporting materials and quickly deploying troops to the battlefield. The Starship Troop, composed of Earth humans, has a physique comparable to that of the middle and upper reaches of the level universe. The future Starship Troop pilot is mainly responsible for outer space starship operations. The Heavy Firepower Strategic Force is composed of Earthlings, whose physique is comparable to that of the middle and upper reaches of the level universe. The heavy armor pilots can directly carry out carpet bombing on the enemy. The firepower of individual soldiers is not inferior to that of an artillery regiment. Seeing the introduction of these 4 troops, Odin's eyelids twitched wildly. This combination is too comprehensive. You know, even Asgard's soldier combination is not so comprehensive. From the reconnaissance troops on the frontal battlefield, to the magician troops in charge of transportation, to the starship troops to seize the interstellar air supremacy, and finally to the heavy firepower strategic troops that will be the finale of the ground battlefield. Except that the strength of the frontal combat troops on the Scarlet Great Wall is slightly weaker. Other aspects can be said to have been basically perfect. At least, Odin couldn't think of anything else to add. Definitely, what shocked Odin the most was actually the Earth humans in these introductions. He, the Lord of the 9 realms, is the clearest about how weak the human beings on Earth are. Even the physique of ordinary people in Asgard is more than twice that of people on Earth. However, now the vast majority of the people who make up the Scarlet Great Wall organization are all Earthlings. How shocking is this? Those who belong to the lineage of Sorcerer Supreme can also be described as magical. But what about ordinary Earthlings? The current strength of those people on Earth is no worse than the elite fighters of Asgard. I am afraid that the only gap between the two sides is only the gap in combat experience. However, combat experience is definitely the easiest thing to obtain in this world. You only need to experience a few more battles, and you will naturally have this combat experience. However, personal strength is not so easy to improve. And now that the strength of human beings on Earth has been improved so much, it is obviously related to this young man who took out the magical bug. If it weren't for the weird means of Ancient One magician, he really wanted to take down this young man named Chen Qing. Then hand it over to his queen for mind manipulation. If the fighters of Asgard can also receive such treatment, then I will naturally not have any opinions. Even myself and the future king of Asgard can join the Scarlet Great Wall. The moment he spoke, countless thoughts flashed through Odin's mind. It is undoubtedly the most correct choice to join the Scarlet Great Wall when it was first established. With Asgard's size, once it joins the Scarlet Great Wall, it will definitely occupy a very high position in it. At least not much worse than Sorcerer Supreme. And this means that they will also be able to share the good things that Chen Qing brings out in the future. Although at the moment the Scarlet Great Wall is only a startup. However, just looking at this omen, Odin can feel that this organization may not be the most powerful force in the universe in the future. Naturally welcome. Chen Qing smiled and replied. Then Chen Qing went on to say, however, your strength is so powerful that it is too much to be on the same level as the current veteran. I am going to set up an elder's house, which is composed of top powerhouses like you, an Ancient One magician, whose status is above Asgardian. Your son Thor will join the Scarlet Great Wall and become the current Asgardian. Asgardian is the current Scarlet, the top executive of the Great Wall. Hearing this, Odin suddenly laughed, and said helplessly, he is indeed a heroic boy. If my son has half of your heart, then I will be satisfied. The subtext of Chen Qing's words is that Odin's strength is too strong. After joining the Scarlet Great Wall, many things will be restricted. After all, he is so powerful, if there is a conflict in the future, who will he listen to? So, hurry up and get out of the elder's house to be a mascot. To say that the status of the elderly house is above Asgardian, isn't that just a picture hanging high? However, he did not object to Chen Qing's proposal, and his son Thor became the so-called Asgardian, and he personally did not have any opinions. With him watching from behind, nothing could happen to Thor. In addition, he still needs to rely on Chen Qing's magical golden bug to continue his life, and there is no room for him to refuse. When Ancient One magician saw Chen Qing persuaded Odin, he couldn't help but sigh that Chen Qing was young and promising. You know, Odin is not a good-tempered master. At the beginning, the South and North wars not only did not smooth Odin's character, but because of the successive battles, Odin's majesty became more and more terrifying. If it weren't for Odin's near life and the Asgard heir not growing up yet, then, Odin will definitely choose to speak with his fists. Although Chen Qing borrowed her strength. But it is undeniable that Chen Qing's ability to borrow her power is also a skill. After all, she is also a top-level Godfather powerhouse. Although her attack methods are not as good as Odin's, her comprehensive strength in other aspects is not much worse than Odin's. If it were an ordinary person, she would not be able to care about it at all. And it was precisely because Chen Qing took out the Qingxin Jiyu, which could suppress the infection of dark forces, and showed extraordinary potential, that she chose to join the Scarlet Great Wall. And there will be a follow-up this time. It can only be said that Chen Qing has calculated everything into it. It may be the Earth's luck that the Earth can have such an existence. The matter of Asgard joining the Scarlet Great Wall was resolved, and the atmosphere between the four of them also improved. Became more relaxed. It is worth mentioning that Chen Qing received an amazing piece of news. That is, Frigga, the Queen of Odin, also possesses the strength of level Godfather. Moreover, he is a very powerful level Godfather. If Frigga was allowed to use her magic, she could even directly blow up more than a dozen fixed star systems into pieces. The only downside is that Frigga's own physique is too poor. It's just equivalent to the top surface level. Although compared to ordinary people, such strength is already very strong. However, if the enemy uses a special weapon to get close, Frigga will definitely die. That's why Frigga will die with a dagger in the future. With such strength, Frigga also naturally became one of the members of the Scarlet Great Wall's House of Elders. Even, Chen Qing once thought that Frigga would become the future card of the Scarlet Great Wall, referred to as Fu Deterrence. Anyone who tries to attack the Scarlet Great Wall will be warned directly by Frigga. As for this future EPH weapon, Chen Qing's attitude is much better than Odin's. They even presented Frigga with rank 1 to rank 3 fitness GU, rank 3 golden body GU, and rank 3 brute strength beetle GU. Relying on these 3 GU worms, Frigga didn't even use magic. It is also definitely able to display the strength of the god level. In addition, the reason for giving Frigga golden body GU and brute strength beetle GU is mainly because the mana in Frigga's body can also drive GU insects. The GU worms cast by Frigga will be even stronger than him, who is only a mid-stage rank 4 GU master. And Chen Qing's move undoubtedly won Odin's favor. Especially after seeing the power of the GU worm given by Chen Qing, Odin's favor for Chen Qing became even higher. He even generously let go of his treasure house for Chen Qing to choose from. Definitely, Chen Qing was not too polite, and found a lot of materials needed to refine rank 5 and rank 6 GU worms. As for the higher level stuff, Chen Qing has never seen it before. After all, the materials necessary for refining GU worms may not be of any use to people in this world. I am afraid that apart from some collectors, only the dwarfs will need all kinds of strange ores. In addition, Chen Qing also told Odin that he wanted to intervene in Thor's trial. Odin is naturally all right. Thor was directly handed over to Chen Qing to take charge. In Odin's original words, as long as you can't die, you can do it well. This time, Thor must be taught a severe lesson. As for those who followed Chen Qing back this time, Odin directly waved his hand, and separated 3,000 elite Asgard soldiers to Chen Qing. At the same time, the Valkyrie was also handed over to Chen Qing as the commander of this Asgard elite soldier. Definitely, correspondingly, Chen Qing also gave Odin 5 revolving 4 longevity GU as a gift in return. These 5 rank 4 longevity GU are all the longevity GU in Chen Qing's hands at present, enough to increase Odin's lifespan by 2.5 years. At least in the short term, Odin doesn't need to worry about running out of life. This can also be regarded as, both are very satisfied with the results. The harvest of this trip is really great. The Ancient One magician couldn't help sighing as he looked at the elite Asgard soldiers behind him. Indeed, I didn't expect Odin to be so generous as to send the female warrior Shendu here. Chen Qing also sighed. Although Valkyrie's strength is not as strong as Odin's, it is enough to be called a level sub-godfather. At least not much weaker than Ant Surprise. Even in the current Scarlet Great Wall, except Wang an Ancient One magician. Even Chen Qing dare not say that he can overwhelm Valkyrie. If combat experience is included, Chen Qing may even be overwhelmed by Valkyrie. And with the Asgard army led by Valkyrie, the Scarlet Great Wall can be regarded as having a frontal fighting army. Although the number is still a bit small, the potential of these Asgard soldiers is very high. Fitness GU can also work on these Asgard soldiers. Although the effect may not be as strong as that of ordinary Earth humans. But it can still make these Asgard soldiers get a lot of improvement. And these Asgard soldiers whose strength has basically reached the limit of their potential, after getting these improvements, their combat power may be raised to a higher level. Actually, this is not an exaggeration at all. After all, these Asgard soldiers have been battle-tested before and have honed their strength to the extreme. What they lack is their own current strength, which is the so-called ability. Even if Valkyrie is given a chance, Valkyrie also has the opportunity to step into the ranks of level Godfather. Before leaving Asgard, Chen Qing opened this time check-in. Being in the territory where the Aesir Protoss is located, Chen Qing is still very much looking forward to the result of his sign in this time. System, I want to sign in. Chen Qing said in his mind. The next moment, his eyes skipped the prompt of the system. Ding, the host has signed in Asgard and obtained 280 years of Taoism, Reincarnation Cup 4th turn X1, Aurora Product 4th turn X1. 280 years of Taoism. Chen Qing couldn't help taking a breath. This time, the sign-in rewards are so rich that he is shocked. It really deserves to be the reward after signing in at Odin's site. According to luck, this must be a place of luck. In addition, although I don't know what the Reincarnation GU and Aurora GU obtained this time are. However, just by listening to the names, one can feel the extraordinariness of these 2 GU worms. However, now is not the time to look at these things. Valkyrie has come with 3,000 Asgard soldiers. Although I don't understand why the god King Odin ordered himself to take people to follow Chen Qing back, and follow Chen Qing's orders in all actions. However, she didn't have too many ideas. For God King Odin, her heart is full of admiration, and she will not resist the orders given by Odin. Odin must have his own reasons for doing so. Hi, I'm Valkyrie, Valkyrie of Asgard, and I will fight for you in the future. Valkyrie said with an Asgard courtesy. As a Valkyrie of Asgard, she has always been well-mannered. Well, I will trouble you in the future, and I would like to trouble you to serve as a combat instructor for other troops. After all, the combat experience you have is beyond our imagination. Chen Qing nodded and smiled lightly. This exaggeration directly made Valkyrie feel extremely comfortable inside, and Shendu's eyes looking at Chen Qing softened a lot. The combat experience that I regard as glory has been highly recognized by others at this moment. Even this Valkyrie just feels very transparent. Don't worry, I will take on this responsibility. Valkyrie nodded emphatically and said. At the same time, Ancient One Magician also opened the portal directly back to the Scarlet Great Wall base, and greeted everyone. Okay, let's go back. After saying goodbye, there are quite a lot of things to do next. It is not an easy task for such a large group of people to join the Scarlet Great Wall. The distribution of GU insects, the problem of housing, the arrangement of equipment, and all kinds of miscellaneous things are very complicated. Fortunately, she is just an elder and doesn't need to manage too many things. Speaking of which, that little girl named Shen Yuexi is quite talented. If you come to practice magic, you should at least be able to reach the god level, that is, the level of the elders of the Sorcerer Supreme. Although this strength is nothing in the universe. But if it's just for self-protection, it's fine. Moreover, if she could have her careful training, perhaps Shen Yuexi's achievements would not be inferior to the king's. And, more importantly, Shen Yuexi is Chen Qing's close friend. Now that Scarlet Great Wall has Odin's faction joining, Sorcerer Supreme's faction is no longer the same as before. If you want to continue to maintain the right to speak and not be suppressed by the Aesir Protoss, you still have to find a way from other aspects. After all, the number of people in the Sorcerer Supreme lineage is too small, far less than that of the Aesir Protoss. Valkyrie and the others didn't refuse, they lined up neatly and walked towards the portal. The group soon left Asgard and returned to Earth. After Chen Qing arranged Valkyrie and the others and let everyone get to know each other, he finally had free time to study the previous gains. Reincarnation GU. Level 4 turns. Ability. You can establish a connection with the target's soul by devouring a strand of the target's soul. After that, it will automatically pull the target's soul back into the reincarnation cup. If there is a container that matches the target's previous body, it will be able to reverse the resurrection, but the highest can only pull the soul under the level Godfather. Advanced Rank 5 GU Worm Requirements. Soul Nourishing Grass X100, Spirit Stone X100, Century Old Poisonous Worm X3. Feeding Requirements. Daily Consumption of Reincarnation Flower Petals X5. Aurora GU. Level 4 turns. Ability. After activation, it can release an aurora. The attack speed is extremely fast. The more true energy injected, the more terrifying the lethality. The highest can even threaten the strong level sub-Godfather, and the Aurora GU can be used as a container. Integrate with Moon Mang GU to become Yu GU. The power of Yu Moon GU is 3 times that of Moon Mang GU, and it can release Aurora attack. Advanced Rank 5 GU Insect Requirements. Hanuehua X100, Aurora Stone X100, 100-Year Poisonous Bug X3. Feeding Requirements. Aurora Stone X5 is required daily. Seeing the introduction of the 2 GU worms in front of him, Chen Qing suddenly took a deep breath. The reward for signing in this time is too scary. Not only is the number of Taoism he signed in the most in his history, but also these 2 kinds of GU worms are very heaven-defying. Needless to say, Reincarnation GU, although at the highest it can only pull the souls of God-level existences. Moreover, it is necessary to go along with the container of the soul's body in order to achieve resurrection. However, this is also resurrection. As long as there are enough containers, the soldiers under his command are equivalent to having resurrection points, and can directly become game players. As for cloning an identical physical body, it is actually not too difficult. The only loss is probably the loss of fitness GU. However, Compared to a fighter with excellent combat experience, this loss is completely worth it. Moreover, this is enough to make the soldiers under his command even more fearless. Even in the face of powerful enemies, dare to have the courage to sacrifice. This will be a powerful GU worm that can greatly increase the strength of the combat troops under his command. I didn't expect to get this GU worm in advance. This is the GU worm that I have always wanted to refine, but I have never been able to find the ingredients. Chen Qing sighed and said. He has mobilized the power of our country to find the two kinds of things, the soul-nourishing grass and the essence stone. I even read the information of Sorcerer Supreme for many years, but I couldn't find the existence of these two things. This means that neither of these things exists on Earth. As a result, he did not expect such a powerful GU worm to be signed in by him. In addition, Aurora GU is also a powerful GU insect, originally possessing a very strong fighting ability. And once it integrates with Yumeng GU, it can be transformed into Yu Sheng. Not only can it make the Moon GU 3 times more powerful than the Moonlight GU, but it can also endow the Moon GU with the ability of the Aurora GU. This is equivalent to the fact that Chen Qing only needs to consume one portion of true qi to do the same thing as two GU worms. Moreover, if Chen Qing directly chooses to use the Aurora to attack during the attack of the Moon GU, he will definitely be able to catch the enemy by surprise. Even if there is no way to take the enemy away in one wave, it is definitely enough to severely damage the enemy. What should be done in the next time, Chen Qing has also determined. He planned to refine the Yu Gu sacrifice first, and then plan the Green Titan and Thor. Anyway, with Wong and Valkyrie watching, Chen Qing doesn't need to worry about any big problems with Thor and Bruce Banner. Definitely, before that, Chen Qing was going to absorb his cultivation first. After completing Thor's sign-in task before, he has obtained 120 years of Taoism. Adding the current 280 years of navigation, it is a full 400 years of Taoism. With so many cultivation bases, at least he can push his realm to the peak of a rank 4 GU master. In a blink of an eye, time flies by, and 3 months are fleeting. In the deepest part of Scarlet Great Wall Base, Chen Qing's exclusive training room. Sitting cross-legged above the immortal King Ji Yuding, Chen Qing slowly opened his eyes. Above his head, there is still a delicate silver flute hovering like a silver snake, and countless purple light spots are continuously falling towards Chen Qing, which is just the same as Wang Qing. It finally worked. Looking at the purple crescent moon in the immortal King Ji Yuding, Chen Qing couldn't help showing a smile on his face. The appearance of Yu Gu is just like its name, showing a nice purple color as a whole. At the same time, its body size is fully twice the file size of Moon Mang Gu, which even exceeds Chen Qing's height. Just from the size, it is enough to bring a great sense of oppression. Moreover, the Yu Gu of such a height is as wide as the tip of a knife, so thin that it seems to shatter when touched. But in fact, the hardness of the Moon Gu is even comparable to that of adamantium. This is enough for Chen Qing to not be helpless when faced with the attack of a strong person at the level sub-Godfather level. For example, in Avengers Alliance 3, Captain America's shield was directly chopped into pieces by Thanos with a few knives. But if it was replaced by Yu Gu, it would not be so easy to be chopped into pieces. At least, it won't be chopped up so easily by Thanos. Unless it encounters an attack from the level Godfather, the Nether Moon Gu can withstand it. For a GU worm that is only rank 4, this is already very against the sky. At this moment, Chen Qing also clicked on his attribute panel. After 3 months, he finally finished all the things that should be done. Definitely, the reason why it took 3 months is actually mainly to break through the realm. Host: Chen Qing. Current state: early stage of rank 5 GU master. Physical level: peak rank 4 GU master with 30,000 tons of power, 2.3 Mach speed and 800 times the normal person's physique. Cultivation method: all things turn into GU Tiangong, immortal level exercise. GU insects: rank 1 GU insects, bone corrosion GUX 72,000, firebug GUX 71,000, star arrow GUX 72,000, blue butterfly GUX 11,000, fitness GU by 1.285 million. Rank 2 GU, bone corrosion GUX 12,000, firebug GUX 11,000, star arrow GUX 13,000, Blue Butterfly GUX 5621, Boiling Blood GUX1, Fitness GU by 62.27. 10,000 Rank 3 GU Bone Corrosion GUX 3278, Firebug GUX 3115, Star Arrow GUX 3513, Blue Butterfly GUX 567, Wisdom GUX 1, Shadow Death GUX 1, Passing. Go X1, Fitness GUX 35,000, Rank 4 GU Bone Corrosion GUX 500, Firebug GUX 500, Star Arrow GUX 500, Green Butterfly GUX 30, Yu GUX 1. Qingfang GUX 1, Hidden Breath GUX 1, Brute Force Beetle GUX 1, Golden Toad GUX 1, Life and Death GUX 1, Reincarnation GUX 1. GU Treasure. Rank 4 GU Treasure, Immortal King GU Ding, Taisheng Wangqing. Special Abilities. Portal, Ragador's Red Ring, Icon's Journey, Soul Astral, Magic Whip, Visandi's Holy Sword, Seraphim's Shield, Celatok's Orangutan. Red Chain, Hogarth's Ancient Master Blog, Wind of Vatum, Thunder of Bosset, Art of Gravity Control, Mirror Dimension. Items. GU Worm Breeding Package X 32000, Biddy GUX 2756. After 3 months of hard work. At this moment, Chen Qing has successfully stepped into the ranks of Rank 5 GU Masters. Even though he just stepped into Rank 5 GU Master. But he is also much stronger than before. At least, he can now say that he is a strong level sub-godfather. Although in terms of combat experience, Chen Qing is still equivalent to No. However, in terms of destructive power, he is definitely a standard level sub-godfather powerhouse, second only to level godfather powerhouse. In addition, having so many GU worms under his hands now is also where Chen Qing's confidence lies. A GU array composed of more than 100,000 GU insects is extremely powerful. Even if most of the GU worms are only rank 1 GU worms, the combined power of these GU worms can be called earth-shattering. At least, the current Chen Qing, if he uses the Fire Lotus to destroy the world again, it will be a real world destroyer. The terrifying attack will directly burn the entire Earth into a big pit, instantly killing all creatures on the planet. Even if Chen Qing tries his best at all costs, melting the Earth will not be a problem. This is the strength of level sub-godfather. Barely touch the strength of the star-bursting edge. With such strength, Chen Qing already has the confidence to become the overlord of the universe. In addition, within the past 3 months, Chen Qing also possessed a peak rank 4 GU master physical body, possessed a full 30,000 tons of power, and a speed of Mach 2.3 has surpassed ordinary people 8.00 times the physique. If it is not too small, his attributes can be compared with Ultraman. Even with just relying on the strength of his physical body, Chen Qing can hit the god level with one blow. Only the existence of those top gods and level sub-godfather can make him feel the pressure. Definitely, the Scarlet Great Wall has also made great progress in these 3 months. The first is the Asgard main battle force that has completely integrated into the Scarlet Great Wall. At this moment, almost all of these Asgard main combat troops have been promoted to a higher level. In the past, they might have only existed in the middle and lower reaches of the level universe. But at this moment, after undergoing the baptism of Fitness GU, his strength is no longer comparable to before. Almost all members have entered the middle and upper reaches of the level. Moreover, some outstanding players took advantage of this opportunity to directly step into the god-level realm. The only thing that hasn't changed is those originally god-level existences. There are only rank 3 Fitness GU. For these god-level existences, it can only be regarded as icing on the cake. That's all pills. Definitely, this is still very huge for the improvement of Asgard troops. At least, now Valkyrie even dares to lead this group of people to fight against the remaining 5,000 soldiers from Asgard. And out of these 3,000 warriors of the Asgard army, the improvement of the other 4 troops of Scarlet Great Wall is also astonishing. First of all, in terms of numbers, because the Dragon Kingdom tasted the sweetness of cooperating with the Scarlet Great Wall, and also after meeting the Asgard warriors. It also directly relaxed the recruitment requirements of Scarlet Great Wall. Because they knew that Chen Qing, who possessed such a powerful force, would not be able to look at this 3-acre land on the earth. Therefore, the 4 troops directly surged to more than 5,000 people within these 3 months. Moreover, this is only the main force. If the reserves are counted, even the smallest heavy firepower strategic force has more than 10,000 people. And the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Force with the largest number of people has 30,000 main troops and 100,000 reserve troops. The Magician Army has also increased from the previous 2,200 to 7,400, and the number of reserves exceeds 30,000. Nowadays, with such a large number of magician troops, the influence of the Scarlet Great Wall has expanded to the entire Earth, and the minions of the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Force are all over the world. Even in a place like Wakanda, there are no less than 10 Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Units, 5 Asgard units, and 3 Magician units lurking nearby. However, Chen Qing did not have the Nine-Tailed Fox Special Response Force to contact Wakanda because he did not want to startle the enemy. Therefore, the current Wakanda does not know that he has been targeted. But at this moment, following Chen Qing's exit, the Asgardians of the Scarlet Great Wall, as well as the chiefs of various troops, were also entangled by Chen Qing. Soon the highest meeting room of Scarlet Great Wall was full of people. Those who can participate here are at least the commanders who command more than 1,000 people. That's right, the division of the subordinate forces of the Scarlet Great Wall is based on the ancient military ranks of the Dragon Kingdom. From the lowest commander of 10 commanders who command 10 people, to the commander of hundreds of commanders of 10 commanders, to the commander of thousands of commanders of 10 centurions, and the commander of 10,000 commanders of 10,000 commanders. In this way, the various levels of the Scarlet Great Wall are divided. Definitely, the current number of troops is small, and there is at least one 10,000 commander. But at present there is only one configuration at the highest. However, Chen Qing heard from Valkyrie, that is to say, Valkyrie, that he is going to take a leave of absence to go back to Asgard recently, and is planning to bring a group of people over to join the Scarlet Great Wall. For such thoughts, Chen Qing just wants to say the more the better. Don't be afraid that he can't afford it, fitness GU is not a valuable thing. He even mentioned it to Valkyrie cryptically. It would be great if we could bring Frigga's natal family over some days later. Although Frigga's witch bloodline does not grant a powerful body, it can grant majestic magic power. It is completely different from the magic of the Sorcerer Supreme line that borrows the power of Visandi. They themselves have magic power, and this magic power can also allow them to drive GU worms. This is also the only existence that Chen Qing knows so far that can actively drive GU worms. Even GU insects will undergo some special changes under the infiltration of these magical powers. Therefore, Chen Qing wanted a group of Queen Frigga's natal family to form a witch troop. In this way, he might be able to have a large number of mutated GU worms in the future. The GU worms distributed by him will not rebel just because they use other people's power. At least, unless the opponent has the same level of ability as the 10,000 Things Transformation GU Tiangong, the GU insects will absolutely be loyal to him. And at this moment, looking at the backbone of the blood-colored Great Wall below, Chen Qing raised his hand and summoned the image of the earth. And at this moment, on this earth image, almost over 90% of the land is covered with red marks of the Great Wall. This represents the place where the current Scarlet Great Wall has set foot. It can be said that the current earth is except for those extremely dangerous places, and some Eternals that Chen Qing is not ready to deal with yet. The sphere of influence of the Scarlet Great Wall has already affected the entire planet. Definitely, Chen Qing called everyone here, not to hold any commendation meeting. The current Scarlet Great Wall is far from reaching the point where he feels good. At least, the space fleet has not been perfected so far. Chen Qing raised his hand and pinched a corner of the earth to quickly zoom in, and soon a place located on the African plain appeared in front of everyone. Everyone, this place is the purpose for me to let you come here this time. Chen Qing pointed to the enlarged area and said. Everyone immediately turned their attention to the place indicated by Chen Qing. As for this place, with the authority of everyone present, it is natural that Chen Qing has done something here. Although I don't know what's in here. However, Chen Qing sent a full 18 teams, a total of 180 people placed here. It is enough to see that it is unusual here. Is there anything special here? Tony pinched his chin and asked suspiciously. From his point of view, this is a very normal African grassland. At most, there are some rare mineral resources. But for the current Scarlet Great Wall, there is no need to pay too much attention to it. Could it be that there is some powerful existence residing here? Wang, who is also one of the Asgardians, also put forward his own ideas. As the face of the Sorcerer Supreme lineage, the future Sorcerer Supreme, the Asgardian identity of the king is naturally justified. As for Asgard, it was supposed to be Valkyrie. Valkyrie became Asgardian. But because the Asgardian quota on Asgard has been reserved by Thor in advance. Therefore, Valkyrie is only a captain at present. Definitely, if in the future, the other party really poaches the natal family of Queen Frigga for him, forming an army of witches, then Chen Qing would definitely not mind promoting Valkyrie to Asgardian. At this moment, old General Wang Siwu, the representative of the Dragon Kingdom, also spoke. As the representative of the Dragon Kingdom, this old general is also an Asgardian. Definitely, this identity is for Dragon Kingdom as a whole, not for old General Wang Siwu personally. Old General Wang Siwu looked at the place on the screen, frowned and said, I seem to remember this place. It is a small country named Wakanda. It doesn't seem to be very rich, and it is only in the most primitive farming society. Facing the three people's questions, Chen Qing nodded. It can be said that the guesses are correct, but they are not all correct. You should know the metal vibranium, right? The metal with the strongest energy-absorbing ability in the world is definitely used to create various metals. A necessary thing for advanced equipment. Everyone present except Valkyrie, who just came to Earth, nodded their heads one after another. How could they not know about this legendary metal? That is more expensive than gold. Just 1 gram would cost a full $10,000 to buy. And it's still priceless. It is very difficult to buy such a thing. But at this moment, Chen Qing suddenly connected the two things together. It was hard for them not to associate them. Could it be that in this kingdom called Wakanda, there are many veins of vibranium? Tony raised his eyebrows and asked out loud. If that's the case, that's really great. The reason why the starship has not had much movement now is mainly due to the problem of materials. If it is simply to let the starship fly, or even adapt to flight in space, then naturally there is no problem. Even at the level of his student days, it is also very easy to achieve. However, what they need is a starship that can adapt to space combat, and ordinary materials are obviously not up to standard. Those who are hit by garbage in space will be smashed into a paper flight with a big hole in an instant, which obviously cannot meet the needs of space combat. And if you can have a large amount of vibranium as the main body of the spacecraft, then there is no problem. With vibranium's strength, even ordinary god-level attacks cannot move them. Once a starship is formed, it will definitely directly become one of the most powerful starships. And, due to the problem of the original solidity of the material, he can even directly expand the plan he had previously conceived. That's right, Wakanda is conservatively estimated to have 10,000 tons of vibranium veins. In addition, Wakanda is not as backward as you think, and their technology may even be more advanced than the current Scarlet Great Wall. Chen Qing said in a deep voice. If it weren't for knowing the plot, who would have imagined that such an advanced civilization would exist in such a barren land? But alas, while Wakanda grew up with technology, and wields the most powerful metal in the world, however, the stubborn selfishness is still deeply buried in their blood. Even if the Earth is facing a super crisis like Thanos. But until they were not threatened by Thanos, they still chose to stand by. For this kind of teammates, Chen Qing said that since they don't want to take on the responsibility of protecting the Earth, they should give up their resources and let those who are willing to protect them take action. The province is here to occupy the latrine and not shit. And Chen Qing's words immediately caused an uproar from everyone present. Everyone here can be said to be the middle and high level of the Scarlet Great Wall, and their status is extremely high, so they are naturally very aware of things like vibranium. Even their weapons and equipment are mixed with some vibranium. However, even if it is the commander level, the vibranium content in the weaponry does not exceed 500 grams. And now tell them that Wakanda has a full 10,000 tons of vibranium reserves. That's a full 10 billion grams. It is more than enough to build all the commanders with full body armor made of vibranium. At the same time, Chen Qing opened the portal directly outside Wakanda, and the other side of the portal is Wakanda. Through the portal, you can also see that many black people are farming on the land of Wakanda. At this moment, after seeing the portal suddenly opened, these black people also showed panic and began to run around. This scene made everyone feel even more confused. Is this the so-called civilization with powerful technology? Definitely, they didn't question what Chen Qing meant, they just wondered why the situation here didn't match what Dong Qing said. And Chen Qing didn't mean to explain, and directly summoned the Yu wheel after the upgrade at the moment. An icy purple moon disk as tall as a person appeared behind him, setting off Chen Qing like a fairy descending from the moon. And the next moment, Yu wheel flew in front of Chen Qing, and began to spin rapidly. Soon, a huge amounts of the ring appeared at this point, and a bright purple beam of light shot out from the ring brazenly, and ruthlessly bombarded towards Wakanda opposite the portal. At this moment, the majestic power even made most of the people present feel suffocated. Apart from Wong and Valkyrie, even those god-level fighters of Asgard also felt terrified when they saw this blow. They could feel that the power of this blow was no less than that of their own Lord Valkyrie. Unexpectedly, the chief Asgardian of the Scarlet Great Wall is actually so powerful. They originally thought that the only thing these chief Asgardians could offer was those peculiar servants. At this moment, it came out with the bombardment of the beam of light. Wakanda on the opposite side also responded. Before this destructive beam of light fell to the ground, a layer of energy shield like a honeycomb brazenly blocked the beam of light. This beam of light filled with a strong aura was directly blocked by the energy shield. Moreover, the energy contained in the beam of light was also quickly swallowed by the energy shield, without leaking to the surroundings at all. Tony, the chief scientist of the Scarlet Great Wall, suddenly exclaimed, "God, this Wakanda is so extravagant, it's definitely a use of vibranium, and it's still. A lot of vibranium is used to achieve this effect." From vibranium, he sees the future frame material of the Star Wars. If a large amount of vibranium is used as the main structure, then, theoretically, these interstellar spaceships can also absorb energy attacks from level sub-godfather like Chen Qing. Also, the legs do not have great impact energy absorption ability. This also means that they can give the spacecraft great anti-collision ability. Theoretically, a spaceship needs 10 tons of vibranium, which is enough to make it difficult to destroy even a strong level sub-godfather. Definitely, if the powerhouse of the level sub-godfather directly chooses melee combat, or continuous energy shock, 10 tons of vibranium is definitely not enough. At most, it can only resist 4 or 5 times. He suspects that Wakanda's energy shield is connected to the underground vibranium veins. Otherwise, they would never have accepted Chen Qing's attack so easily. But if it is supported by 10,000 tons of vibranium veins, Tony even doubts that this shield can even withstand attacks at the level of the real level Godfather. And at the same time as Chen Qing launched the attack, the scene inside the shield also quickly appeared. A large number of high-tech and primitive buildings appeared inside the shield. At the same time, on those city walls, there are also a large number of Nengwang weapons that look like giant crossbows but are shining with light. In addition, there are also a large number of flight devices, which flew out from the inside of Wakanda and landed in the sky. In just an instant, a country with a highly developed civilization was displayed in front of everyone at the Scarlet Great Wall. Among them, the one with the most exciting expression was the old General Wang Siwu. He never thought that on this barren land of Africa, there is still a country with such a civilization. Just relying on the ability displayed by the other party at this moment. In the eyes of the other party, the so-called 5 permanent members are probably like a so-called joker. Looking at the warriors holding spears, Valkyrie commented, "These people are similar to Asgard, and Asgard also advocates close combat." Chen Qing glanced at the people in Asgard, and saw that they all agreed with each other, and couldn't help the expression of the old man on the subway. Pull it down. People in Asgard like close combat because of their strong physique, and the older they get, the stronger they get. However, these Wakanda people are more jokers. His physical fitness is nothing but the level of ordinary people, at best comparable to athletes. If it weren't for vibranium weapons and equipment, I don't know how many times I would have died. Just like this, he still directly chooses to fight in close quarters, which is somewhat of a serious illness. It is simply using the most advanced technology to fight the most primitive fight, pure embarrassment. Look at the so-called Wakanda guards that have rushed out quickly. Chen Qing folded his arms, stood in front of the portal and said in a deep voice, "So, the theme of this meeting is to take down Wakanda. These vibraniums do not belong to Wakanda. Because the Earth has not yet experienced the plot of the Avengers Alliance. Therefore, everyone does not know what kind of selfish character Wakanda is." Chen Qing was not as deadly as she said. Definitely, anyone with a discerning eye knows how it is possible for Wakanda, which has such a powerful resource, to bow its head and give up such a rich vibranium vein. Conflict is bound to arise between the two parties. However, compared with the bloody Great Wall with strong soldiers and horses, what is a mere Wakanda? Leaving aside the powerhouses at the level Godfather level, the current Scarlet Great Wall is no weaker than the Aesir Protoss in its heyday. Even, in some aspects, the strength is far beyond the Aesir Protoss in its heyday. Agree. Tony was the first to agree to Chen Qing's proposal. On the one hand, this is the trust in one's own friends. On the other hand, he also didn't think vibranium would do Earth any favors in such a primitive state. He did see a very large-looking spaceship that the Wakanda people were riding on. It is obviously an air combat force. However, those Wakanda warriors were standing on the deck of the fat ship, which looked like a mobile flight platform, holding a spear. In addition, he did not see any firepower equipment on this 21 spaceship. How to drop? Do you still have to drive the boat directly to hit the other party to death? I agree too, the world is so dangerous it really needs those vibraniums. Wong also frowned and said, "If only I knew that there are so many vibraniums on the Earth. When their Sorcerer Supreme lineage is resisting those threats, it will not be so dangerous. They have already understood the benefits of vibranium equipment. It can be said that those magicians in the Magician Army, after having the protection of vibranium equipment, strength can be increased by at least 30%. After all, vibranium equipment is enough to shelter their weak bodies like magicians." On behalf of the forces of Asgard, I agree. Valkyrie also nodded, expressing her approval of the proposal. Although Asgard's fighters are very powerful, they are the main force of the Scarlet Great Wall today. However, close combat also represents greater danger and mortality. These vibranium-made equipment can greatly improve the survival rate of Asgard fighters, and she has no reason to disagree. Moreover, she is also very satisfied with the many decisions made by the Scarlet Great Wall. At least, Chen Qing's decisions now look like she doesn't see anything wrong. Longguo chose to abstain. After hesitation, Wang Siwu made a decision to abstain. This can be regarded as the consistent style of Longguo. This action, after all, was an active invasion of a kingdom, which somewhat worried the Dragon Kingdom. In case there are such rare things in the territory of Dragon Kingdom itself, will Dragon Kingdom become the next target? However, Chen Qing didn't care about it, and had any idea about using martial arts. The Scarlet Great Wall is not the United Nations. At best, Asgardians only have the right to vote, but they do not have the so-called veto right. So, what one thinks doesn't change what is decided. Okay, since there is no objection, let's start the operation and mobilize the combat troops. I hope that the first battle of the Scarlet Great Wall can be fought beautifully. Chen Qing turned around, looked at everyone present and said, "Wow." In an instant, everyone in the conference room stood up. Ling Lai's fighting spirit soared into the sky. At the same time, everyone on Wakantian's side has also assembled. At the same time, Wakanda's current Black Panther and Prince T'Challa, the previous old Black Panther and the current Wakanda king appeared on the city wall together, looking solemnly at the portal in the sky. Through the picture of the portal, you can see the appearance of a conference room on the other side. Also, there are people wearing special battle suits among them. If nothing else, the previous attack came from here. Moreover, the opponent's attitude towards their Wakanda is not good. Otherwise, it would not launch an attack suddenly. Who are the intruders? T'Challa quickly put on the Black Panther battle suit, and said in a cold tone. The old Black Panther didn't answer, but looked solemnly at the crystal stones shining with dazzling purple light on both sides. That attack was simply terrifying, and it actually directly hit the vibranium defense shield to a state of almost saturation. If not, they can share this power with the vibranium veins under their feet. It's really hard to say whether it can take this attack. Thinking of this, the old Black Panther's face became a little more dignified, and he said to T'Challa next to him, "Be careful, don't take the initiative to attack before the opponent clearly expresses the intention of aggression, the enemy's strength may very powerful." T'Challa glanced at her father, but said nothing. Obviously, the young Black Panther was not very convinced. "But that's normal too, young man. Just got a strong power, it's time to show off." Coupled with the fact that the armor on his body is invincible, even airplanes and cannons are like floating clouds in front of him. Even in the face of the impact of a nuclear bomb, as long as it is not just at the center of the nuclear bomb, the Black Panther battle suit can withstand it, which naturally breeds T'Challa's arrogance even more. If it wasn't for the fact that his father was still by his side at this moment, T'Challa even wanted to rush up and give the attacker 2 paws. The old Black Panther naturally saw this scene in his eyes. But he didn't say much, but he couldn't help but sighed in his heart. The current crisis has not yet been resolved, and he really has no intention of educating his son. Judging from the other party's previous actions, it must be that the Comer is not good. There is likely to be a violent conflict between the two sides, and Wakanda may suffer at that time. So, it doesn't make any sense to think about what's there and what's not. At this moment, Chen Qing on the other side of the portal has also completed the mobilization in front of the station. A series of portals with different file sizes opened on the grassland outside Wakanda. Then, a row of soldiers wearing black battle suits with a Scarlet Great Wall logo tattooed on their chests came out of the portal neatly. These people have a total of 4 troops, which are very easy to identify. First of all, at the forefront is the main force of Asgard composed of Asgard warriors. These Asgard warriors are equipped with heavy black armor similar to a company of soldiers. These black armors can even defend against armor-piercing projectiles by virtue of their own defense. And if you count the magic runes inscribed on it, even the level universe attack is not so easy to shake. And behind the Asgard warriors, there is also a heavy sword. The weight of the giant sword is as high as 5 tons. Just like a mace, even if it is just a simple sweep of the enemy, it is enough to send the enemy flying out like hitting a baseball. And in front of the heavy blade, there is an extremely sharp blade that has been sharpened. With the terrifying power of Asgard warriors, if you use this giant sword to fart, even the tank's reaction equipment will be cut in half directly. And in the rear of the Asgard force, is the 9-tailed fox Special Response Force. These 9-tailed fox Special Response Forces are all composed of Earth humans. After the baptism of the 3rd-rank Fitness GU, and the blessing of the 2nd-rank Brute Strength Beetle GU and the 2nd-rank Qingfeng GU. These 9-tailed fox Special Response units not only possess impressive strength, but also have the ability of flight and wind control. Even in the level universe, it can be regarded as the middle level. Moreover, in addition to the combat experience trained by Valkyrie and others during this period, they can even be regarded as mid-upstream troops in the level universe. However, these 9-tailed foxes are special response forces. The main task is not close combat. Close combat is what Asgard forces do. 9-tailed fox Special Response Force, similar to light cavalry on the battlefield. Mainly used to harass enemy troops, and perform some decapitation missions. Therefore, the 9-tailed fox Special Response Force is not equipped with heavy armor, but an individual exoskeleton similar to Iron Man. Their main task is to cooperate with the magician troops to carry out raids. And the magician troops are right next to the 9-tailed fox Special Response Team. These magicians are all wearing black trench coats and wide hoods, looking very mysterious. At the same time, only a small number of magicians can equip the magical summer. At this moment, these magicians are almost one in hand. You can always trust the heritage of a top power. After Dragon Kingdom took action, it is really too easy to find these magic tools. Basically, as long as there are things on the earth, they can be found for you. As for the last position, it is the Heavy Firepower Strategic Unit. This unit can be called the masterpiece of Tony's painstaking effort. Each mecha of the Heavy Firepower Strategic Force is about 6 meters in size. Although the overall shape is human, it is a bit bloated like an astronaut. But this bloat has its own meaning. Among them, except for the necessary armor defense, almost all places where weapons can be equipped are equipped with weapons. They are like a mobile weapon launcher. If fully armed and equipped with full ammunition, these war machines can be equipped with more than 30,000 rounds of ammunition, 2 small missiles and 122 rockets. That terrifying firepower is even enough to bomb most of the town. In terms of real strength, maybe these big guys have just reached level universe. However, when it comes to destructive power, the strength of these big guys is infinitely close to the god level. And at this moment, there are 1,500 scarlet great walls of big guys like this. These big guys with super firepower. It is also all dispatched at this moment. After all, this time is likely to be a rare opportunity for actual combat. There was no way Tony would pass up such a good opportunity. What's more, he didn't think that the country of Wakanda would really be that fragile. At least, it was enough for him to see the true strength of these robots. The only one who didn't make an appearance now is the Starship troops. However, the main role of this force is to deal with enemies from space. Therefore, even if the Starship troops can make an appearance, they will definitely not appear on such planetary occasions. Definitely, this is also due to the fact that the Starship force currently has no materials to construct the main body of the Starship. But now these are not such a big problem. With a reserve of 10,000 tons of vibranium, it is easy to build a Starship. At least, Tony is very satisfied with this reserve. At the same time, he himself put on a heavy armor and came to the forefront of the heavy strategic force. As the builder of this set of war machines, no one knows better than Tony how to maximize the destructive power of these war machines. And the 4 armies with different styles dispatched from the Scarlet Great Wall shocked the Wakanda soldiers on the opposite side. The old Black Panther's face became even more ugly. Because, even if Wakanda can stop this elite army in front of him, it will definitely have to pay huge amounts of price. T'Challa, however, seemed eager to try. Although the number of enemies in front of us is very large. But, having just obtained the power of the Black Panther battlesuit, he is eager to try it out, and those people. He didn't think these enemies could be shaken anymore. His Black Panther battlesuit was completely made of vibranium, plus the extraordinary power given to him by the heart-shaped grass. Even if it is a tank in front of him, he is sure to overturn it directly. Father, since they have sent an army, it will never be good, let me go. T'Challa to old Black Panther. His eyes are full of fighting intent, and the fiery fighting intent is even about to break through the sky. No, absolutely no shot, the old Black Panther reprimanded immediately. Just the ability to travel through space displayed by the other party is enough to arouse their fear. What's more, the opponent's Steel Titans clearly possessed powerful firepower. He could see countless barrels on those war machines with his naked eyes. Not to mention that the opponent may have hidden weapons inside the Man of Steel. Even their Wakanda fighters have equipment made of vibranium, which can weaken the enemy's attack to the greatest extent. But that doesn't mean they are really invincible. Father, not reconciled, T'Challa wanted to say something else. However, it was interrupted by the old Black Panther's angry voice. You have to remember that you represent not only yourself, but you also have thousands of people to take care of. It's not that he doesn't understand Wakanda's powerful technology, which is far beyond what Earth technology can match. However, what he said was only the technology of the Earth. But the enemies in front of us, do they possess the technology that the Earth can possess? He feels that even compared with Wakanda's technology, it's not too much. The only advantage of Wakanda is probably only vibranium. Although T'Challa still wanted to say something, but looking at her father's angry eyes, she restrained herself. However, he disapproved of his father's weak behavior from the bottom of his heart. Blindly backing down won't do anything. When dealing with the enemy, only when the other party feels the pain can the other party know how to retreat. At this moment, the two sides also set up a formation in front of Wakanda's energy shield. The atmosphere between the two sides has also become tense, and it is possible to make a move at any time. Even many Wakanda female warriors on the city wall turned on the energy gun mode of the spear in their hands. At this time, the old Black Panther shouted at the bloody Great Wall army outside the city wall, "Let someone who can talk to you come out. What exactly do you want? I think we can talk about it." He is not prepared to really clash with this powerful army in front of him, even if they Wakanda is the winner in the end. The result would also be very miserable. That's not what the old Black Panther wanted to see. Now that Wakanda is in between the old and the new Black Panther, his son hasn't grown up enough to actually be a king. Nor is it eligible to be called a qualified Black Panther. So, he decided to buy some time for his son, and for Wakanda as well. After his son grows into a truly outstanding Black Panther, it won't be too late to get back to where he was today. And at the moment he is in the army's cockpit, playing Wakanda. Wakanda has a special plant called heart-shaped grass. As long as it is taken, the physical body can be greatly improved, even reaching an unimaginable level, but Wakanda has a very strange setting. Only their king can taking heart-shaped grass becomes a special Asgardian called Black Panther, but after the new Black Panther takes heart-shaped grass, the old Black Panther has to take special medicine to eliminate his ability, so that Wakanda has always been able to possessing a super ability. Do you think this is a disease? Chen Qing complained unceremoniously about the customs of Wakanda. Anyway, he didn't understand what the theory was about. It can only be said that Wakanda, which is on the land of Africa, is really used to peace. Coupled with the powerful technology brought by vibranium, they have no sense of crisis at all. As long as Wakanda cultivates more Black Panthers, the Earth will be directly pushed across by Wakanda. Wearing the Black Panther battlesuit, Black Panther is definitely no less powerful than the peak of the level universe. If Sorcerer Supreme doesn't make a move, and everyone in Asgard doesn't make a move, then no one on Earth will be a match for Wakanda. At that time, the Earth will develop as Wakanda wants the Earth to develop. Zhao Wangjiao, however, it is a pity that Wakanda's natural advantages have made the opponent choose to close the country and be self-styled. However, at this moment, seeing the old king of Wakanda speak out, in order to save face for a national leader, Chen Qing still had to step forward. Supported by the breeze, Chen Qing flew lightly to the front of the camp, condescendingly cast his eyes on the old Black Panther, and said flatly, "I don't know what to ask me to come out, what's your opinion?" Even though Chen Qing didn't reveal her aura, her tone wasn't threatening either. But still, the old Black Panther suddenly felt an astonishing aura rushing towards his face, and even oppressed him so much that he wanted to kneel down. This is the difference between man and God. God level, only those who have reached this level can be called gods. And Chen Qing's current strength is not weaker than level sub-godfather, so naturally it is even more terrifying. Even if it is only the natural charm between words, it is enough to make ordinary people worship. With just one look and one sentence, the old Black Panther knew that the person in front of him was definitely not someone he could provoke. The strength of the opponent comes from the absolute confidence in strength. Judging from the expression of the other party at this moment, it is very likely that the previous attack came from the person in front of him. If this is really the case, then I am afraid that their Wakanda may encounter catastrophe today. The opponent's original strength is extremely strong, coupled with such an elite army. No matter how advanced technology is in Wakanda, it is useless at all. The old Black Panther did not lower his posture without hesitation, and said almost humbly, "Respected strongman, just ask for anything you need, and we can promise you." On the other hand, T'Challa's face showed a trace of anger. He didn't expect his father to show such a gesture. "You know, my father is the Black Panther of the previous generation. As an existence that serves the goddess, this is simply a shame." Even though the person in front of him is terrifyingly powerful, T'Challa still doesn't think he is powerless. He believes that as long as he rushes forward, relying on his rich 320 combat experience and strong fighting will, it is not completely impossible to win the opponent. After all, the other party seemed pampered and did not seem to have much combat experience. Definitely, these are just T'Challa's thoughts, and he doesn't want to undermine his father's efforts. Chen Qing looked at the old Black Panther with unwavering eyes, and said in a calm tone, "Give up the vibranium mine, Wakanda is 100 miles away from here." He was going to give Wakanda a chance. As for whether the other party can catch it, and whether it is willing to catch it, it is none of his business. He has fulfilled his humanitarian responsibility, which can be regarded as an explanation to other peace-loving people. Vibranium, a rare and powerful resource, must be held by the Scarlet Great Wall. Only when the equipment of the Scarlet Great Wall is strong enough and the military force is strong enough can the Earth have the hope of safely moving towards the future. Otherwise, any random god-level existence could turn the Earth upside down. To put it bluntly, even Thor in Hammer's form can easily destroy all civilizations on Earth. Although Wakanda's technology seems to be good, but in fact, it is really not enough to see the existence of the god level. In other words, relying on the energy shield of the vibranium veins is not bad. But beyond that, Wakanda doesn't have anything to offer. It is completely a representative of playing a good hand of cards to a pulp. However, this may also have something to do with the character of the black man. The ability of the black man to be happy with the situation is directly full. After Chen Qing's voice fell, the expressions of everyone in the old Black Panther and Wakanda changed instantly. What does it mean to abandon the vibranium vein and evacuate Bailey here? That's tantamount to letting them give up the land that belongs to Wakanda directly under their feet. They were effectively banished from their homeland, and it made the eyes of all Wakanda turn red. The young Black Panther T'Challa yelled directly, "Impossible. Don't even think about it. We will never give up our homeland. It is even more impossible to give up the vibranium that the goddess gave us." Chen Qing ignored T'Challa, who was jumping angrily, but turned his attention to the old Black Panther. "So, what's your opinion?" "It doesn't matter what those other people say, what matters is what the old Black Panther, the king of Wakanda, will choose." Chen Qing only needs to care about the opinion of the old Black Panther. After all, old Black Panther is the king of Wakanda, and kings always talk to kings. The old Black Panther originally wanted to agree with Chen Qing's opinion, but with a lot of experience, he could roughly guess Chen Qing's terror. However, he looked at the Wakanda people, who looked at him with red eyes. The old Black Panther suddenly dared not speak soft words, "CBEJ." Because he knew if he said it, then, the spirit of Wakanda will be scattered from now on. Therefore, even in order to keep Wakanda's energy, he must fight a battle. Even if they really lost to each other, it wouldn't be too embarrassing to retreat like that. "Sorry, my people don't allow me to be weak. So, please treat us as enemies and have a good fight with us." The old Black Panther looked at Chen Qing and said with a light smile. Chen Qing took a deep look at the old Black Panther, and then replied meaningfully, "Good." Then, he directly retreated to the rear of the army, and ordered the soldiers under his command, treat the opponent as a real enemy and attack. He didn't know what old Black Panther meant by being an enemy. However, the enemy Chen Qing mentioned was to give Lao He the respect that he should have when dealing with enemies. And the respect one should have when dealing with enemies is to cut grass and roots. Since the other party has asked for this, he will naturally not refuse. What's more, he doesn't want people who hate the seeds of Wakanda to live in the territory he rules. Although it may not be able to threaten him, who knows if it will affect his close people. Kill, kill, kill. After Chen Qing gave the order, the four armies immediately shouted 3 kills. Then quickly launched an attack towards Wakanda's energy shield ahead. The 1,500 heavy mechs were the first to go. The moment before launching the attack, extremely thick brackets protruded directly from their legs and waists, and then ruthlessly inserted into the ground. They fixed their bodies firmly in place. With Tony's technological level, these buffer fixtures are even enough to allow these heavy mechs to withstand the impact of the locomotive head-on. Definitely, this is just one of the insignificant abilities of these heavy mechs. When the bracket fell, the chests of these heavy mechas immediately opened to the sides, revealing the rocket launchers hidden inside. Also, on its shoulders, arms and thighs. Also exposed are extremely thick barrels, which are enough to fire a 24mm howitzer. The power is even comparable to the firepower of an artillery battalion. But at this moment, 1,500 heavy armored mechas took up their posture, which was the firepower of 1,500 artillery battalions. What is the concept of such terrible firepower pouring out? At least at this moment, Wakanda's energy shield has been completely covered by artillery fire, and it is impossible to see clearly the situation inside and outside. In addition, the most gorgeous attack method should not be the magician troops. Thousands of magicians jointly cast Sabbath's thunder, and the red lightning directly stretched into a giant red net. It even dyed the sky a bloody color. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.